It is a fast-acting viral strain that infects the host immediately, and upon getting sick, the infected will become racked with coughs, sweat profusely, and start to get the shivers and chills.
There he is, the legend. The man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah. You can't literally run a promotion just for the AEW, what do they call them, sickos?
Thank you very much, TikTok and AEW. See you tonight.
Tony Khan started telling people there's no such thing as long-term booking anymore. It's week to week.
The best guy's Tony Khan.
We just secured the bag.
It's not like I tried to be a character. It was just sort of happened naturally. But it was never something I intended. It was just something that happened because the wrestlers asked me to do things in matches, and I do them.
If you run a promotion just for the sickos, you're going to do 400,000 viewers eventually.
Effing melts. You know that SmackDown actually went and everything?
Yeah.
You know,
what's the point?
The point of SmackDown.
What are you getting at here?
That the DVRs didn't pick it up.
Did they not pick it up?
Mine didn't.
Let's get into everybody's favorite moment, and it is called Dave Meltzer's Dumb Moment of the Week.
What would you like to listen to in your ears?
I'd like to hear the flute.
Well, if you'd like to flaunt your flute, then we can find you a flautist.
We just secured the bag.
It doesn't help me.
Okay, so complain, but
I will complain.
Let me out of my misery!
And when I heard that, I was like, what?
Thank you, fuck you, bye. Boom.
You got to run a promotion for everybody. The sickos can be the ones that buy tickets first and spend the most money on the merchandise.
Because we just secured the bag.
But, you got to promote for everybody. Then you'll have a lot of viewers.
I think we proved a lot of so-called experts. We made them look like idiots. We're not going anywhere. Tony Khan's not going anywhere.
You'll also be there on TNT. You'll be in 2 places at once. You'll be watching my favorite movie. Time. So great, Pittsburgh.
It's not like I tried to be a character. It sort of happened naturally.
the best guy's Tony Khan.
To keep themselves safe.
And now to the man of the hour. Can someone get him a vodka with Metamucil? Blonde, great in-ring wrestler, great on the mic, a womanizer, 16-time champion, but enough about Kurt Hennig. Ric Flair has been paid millions and millions and millions of dollars by Vince McMahon, and he didn't have to fuck him.
What's your next desire? Big flow.
By Pro Wrestling Clips. Flutes are civil. Conan broke the internet with his Vikingo contract news, though. Everyone's saying he's going to WWE.
Well, they can say whatever they want. That's not happening right now, that's for sure.
I've been forced to vacate the AEW World Trios Championship.
You think we're missing anything? Not doing any singles with me?
Hey, you okay? That was great. Way to go. Great job, guys.
Tony Khan created a revolution.
Show days, super chaotic. A lot of times we get here and we don't know what we're doing till hours, minutes before we go out there.
There literally are, I think some weeks, 100 talents running around backstage.
At that point, it caught Tony Khan's ear, and he started thinking, maybe I want to do this. Let's get together. And I guess the rest is history, right?
We're just getting started, but it's a great fight to start a great night. It's gonna be fun, right? I'm excited. Ready to go? Go to break.
Figured out what works as a heel in the ring for me.
Austin wants to be here so bad.
Is it a break spot?
Not yet.
Tonight!
That was big.
Oh, damn it, God damn it!
Hey, it's Becca, bitch.
I'm a demon shit. Face card, $1 million. Chase it down, cops and robbers. You've been dodging me, I think that's really odd. You're a demon bitch, I'm a god. One punch and I knock you out. One punch and you're on the ground. Knock the guard right out of your mouth. Give him something to talk about. One kick and you're on the ground. One kick and I knock you out. Try to keep up, kid. I'm the queen of this shit, and you're just mid. Your outfit, really mid. You're an NPC, I'm that main bitch. I'll take you shopping. Get those toenails did, cause you're flopping. I'll fix your style, fix your hair, fix your stinky feet. You'll look a little bit better when you're getting your ass beat. I'm so Mother Teresa. I keep it vague like my name is Lisa. The scariest thing about you is those nasty feet getting near this beautiful face. Honey, you can kick me all you want. I'm gonna get right back up and I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. Exactly. One punch and I knock you out. One punch and you're on the ground. Knock the guard right out of your mouth. Give him something to talk about. One kick and you're on the ground. One kick and I knock you out. Try to keep up, kid. I'm the king of this shit, and you're just mid. I'm the king of this shit, and you're just mid. I'm the queen of this shit. And you're just mid. Yeah, wax on, wax off, deep shit. I'm about to teach you a lesson.
What's happening, guys? Welcome to another eclectic edition of PWT Live Show. I am your host, Phil Marks. Yeah. And we're here. We made it. It's another weekend. I hope everybody's weekends are going well. It's a good pit stop, a good middle of the weekend, if you will. Time to pop in and catch up with all the latest wrestling news and whatnot here at PWT. Yeah. So, guys, we do have a nice jam-packed show. We got a little bit of everything today, and I can't wait for it. Amazing. As everyone files in, don't forget we're live over at youtube.com/@prowrestleclips. We're also live over on X. Consider subscribing to the YouTube, and then the replay of this show, when it's done, it goes members only, and then on the youtube.com/@prowrestletimes channel, it goes from members only to fucking the replays up there. If you miss anything, you go to that other channel. It's my secondary channel, okay, over there, and you'll find PWT podcast and all that good stuff, including episode 100 with my friend Alfred Kunua. And we are here. Yes, we are here, man. AEW Dynamite. What do we have on the docket tonight? AEW Dynamite is dead. We're going to talk about some ratings, okay, because the ratings are all the rage again. Because of this new Nielsen method of, we've been covering it here on the show, you guys know. Oh, and shout out everybody who tuned in to the inaugural first edition of Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week, which airs every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific. Round of applause. That was amazing. And yeah, that was an amazing time, and we're still going to make fun of Dave here at on the live shows, on the podcasts. I mean, it's unavoidable. The man unavoidable. The man has years, decades we have to catch up on of roasting and lampooning and lambasting Dave. So that was a great time. Make sure you guys tune in here Thursdays. That's on YouTube and X as well. And I just leave that up on both channels, you know, so you guys can check that out. And what else do we have, though? The WWE wellness controversy. So again, with Andrade's departure, there's been just some controversy surrounding you know, whether or not they're conducting their wellness policies correctly, or if they even conducted them at all, or, you know, we're going to get into all of that. Matt Riddle crashed out again. I'm sure you guys saw that. And otherwise, we got AEW Collision on. It is just background noise, though. I mean, who gives a shit? And not to be so, I mean, it's pulled up on the screen right here, not to be so crass about it, but it's like, come on, man. Jay Lethal out of nowhere's just back because the Death Riders need an opponent. And you guys are already watching it. I know it's already on. There's UFC on tonight. And so I just thank you all for being here. Whoever tunes in, all over 100 of you across YouTube and X thus far, as people continue to file in. I see that number jumping up. Thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. You guys can hit like, hit subscribe. You guys can super chat in or become a member of the channel for only 99 cents if you want to support PWT and your boy Phil Marks in the show. And with that being said, let's get into some stuff. We got lots of stuffs tonight, okay? So I don't know. We're not going to start at AEW news. Let me check in with chat. Actually, speaking of super chats, Ray J's World for 5 says, in your Tony Khan impression, say Carlos Silva and TNA just secured the bag. Well, like we often do on these Wednesday nights, we have just secured the bag. And TNA, I'm sorry to report on this Thursday afternoon that we're taping Ring of Honor and Collision, guys. So I'm so sorry to report, but Carlos Silva and TNA just secured the bag.
Acknowledge me.
I hope that suffices. Ray J's World also became a new member. Thank you very much for your membership. I do a Member Monday show, by the way. You become a member, you get access to, I do a show every Monday, and those are a hoot and a holler. We typically watch Raw and do other shit, but we also, sometimes I just pop in and we do like EFAPs, or, you know, we just field questions or whatever the hell. TK Mark has been a member for 7 months. That's amazing. You guys can also gift memberships if you support what I do over here, and make sure you guys get in the Discord and shout out TK Mark. Thank you for your membership. Round of applause for the PWT. So we need to talk about some things here, okay? And we are going to start this show in a hearty segment tonight. And it is called, okay, we have more floating in here. Thank you so much, guys, for your membership. Rabid Wolverines LC Killer 17 has been a member for 14 months.
Acknowledge me.
Good goddamn. That's spectacular. Thank you so much for that. And everybody, I see all the green names. I haven't heard the TNA news. NXT TNA Showdown is just as many title matches. I bought the I'm Team TNA shirt. That fucking rules. Chat, thank you so much. TNA has been awesome. I've now become a Cha-Cha Charlie Mark. Okay, Florida State versus Miami for you. There you go. Some football, some foosballs for the devil. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for get your Wade Barrett's in the chat, please, because we got some miscellaneous news here.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
So, former WWE star Ahmed Johnson was involved in a serious car accident on September 29th after being hit by a drunk driver. Jesus, do not drink and drive, folks. The photo here shows the back of Ahmed, aka Tony Norris's vehicle after the crash, a terrifying scene that could have ended very differently. Thankfully, Tony shared an update himself, letting everyone know he's okay. In his own words, when you have the Lord on your side, nothing can harm you. Thank God he's okay. That looks incredibly bad. It looks like he got rear-ended there. So fortunately, Nothing crazier happened than that. Speaking of crazy, Linda McMahon, co-founder of WWE and longtime business partner to Vince McMahon, is finally revealing just how close they came to losing everything. Now, I didn't know whether to put this in like the throwback segment or not, so I was like, fuck with it. She's not involved in WWE anymore. We will just read what, WWE adjacent shit can kind of make it in the miscellaneous news. So she says that she recalled an accountant convinced them they were too heavily invested in one venture and should diversify. The McMahons agreed and put money into a construction business they didn't understand, and that decision backfired too. Linda said no, because we were building as we went. However, during that time, we did have an accountant who suggested that we were putting all of our eggs in one basket. We should diversify. We knew absolutely nothing about construction. We put money into some construction accounts, co-signed on some loans that went belly up, which eventually put us in a bankruptcy. God damn. So I wonder how much of it was actually WCW and how much of it had to do with this construction company. So she says it wasn't the wrestling side of what we were doing, but it was the other side that we invested in outside of what we were doing with wrestling. We lost everything. My house was auctioned off. My car was repossessed. So in WWE's history books, they're kind of like, oh, this was because WWE was going belly up. But realistically, it seems like this, well, according to Linda, that this fucking construction company, or maybe she's just working right now because she's in politics and I don't know, what is she responsible for, signing off on construction shit? She might not be trying to blow up her current spot, Yeah, so quite compelling shit. Shout out Ringside News for that. Ringside News also posted this. Bret Hart's daughter, Jade, beats cancer after a long battle. Air horns in the chat. What a fucking ledge. Someone's comment. Oh my God. He got ratioed, but he's like, does Bret blame Goldberg for her cancer too? Oh my good God. Shout out fucking this legend right here, Jade Hart. Speaking of legends, Florida, well, not Ron DeSantis, but Hulk Hogan. He got Hulk Hogan Trail was named after him in Clearwater, Florida, okay? Ron DeSantis made that happen. Jimmy Hart was there. Linda McMahon also, okay, I guess we had a clip of it, but we don't need to watch that because I just read it. So Steve Borden, okay, speaking of legends, his son Sting made his professional wrestling debut. I mean, is that true? We've seen him kind of do some shit in AEW, but it wasn't like an official match. This is his like pro, not just like a run in and a stinger splash in the corner, dressed like my dad. This is like an actual pro debut match, okay? And it was at 52W Hardaway, an art exhibit where Darby Allin hosted a fucking art exhibit, dude. Hosted matches. Borden teamed with JD Drake, who's, I mean, I don't know this, but JD Drake, he's likely training with or is the guy like getting Borden ready, if I had to assume. And Killer Cross, which is pretty sweet, man. Let's check out this clip. I mean, let's be honest. He looks pretty natural. That's a 10-second clip, but this is the basic shit right here, right? And let's look at how he executes it. One more time. Drop down. Yeah, I don't know. He looks like his dad, too. I mark out for shit like that the same way we all marked out for Braun Breaker and, Cody Rhodes and shit like that. It's the same thing. If he's good, which he looks good, then it's all good with me, baby. So New Japan Pro Wrestling has run less United States shows in 2025 due to declining attendance and some roster members not wanting to make the trip for the shows. Now, we're going to circle back to this and dissect this more in AEW news because, it's not AEW is supposed to help New Japan with this whole thing, with this whole U.S. expansion / like increasing ticket sales in Japan and stuff like that as well. And it hasn't worked out. And some people, you know, I've pointed this out a bunch, and some people get mad about it. And it's like, well, listen, man, it's just reality. We're going to talk about it more in the AEW portion of the show. But just bringing it up in miscellaneous news because it should be noted, right? Like, let's remove AEW from the equation. That's shitty for them. Speaking of shitty for them, pro wrestlers are being preyed upon by Dana White and like the early days. We'll just leave that there, digest that statement. And like the early days of the UFC, you know, before Dana White was involved. You know, pro wrestlers were integrated into like MMA, and there was a lot of shoot works in Japan, brother. And, you know, there was guys who did both. They pro wrestled and they did MMA. And even to this day, you know, in Japan, the two are closely linked, maybe closelier than they are here in the Americas and whatnot. But Power Slap is the newest. I don't want to call it a martial art. I think it's fucking stupid. I think what some of these pro wrestlers do on the indies is fucking stupid too. Not all of it, but some of it. And not even on the indies. If you guys want to call the AEW the majors, then even places like that, right? But Hollywood Haley J, who was like the focal point of that OVW wrestler show on Netflix. She was one of the main, I would say she was like the focal point. She was like one of the main attractions. Pardon me. Her cash flow, they really stood out, I would say. And then that I forget the guy's name, but he was on commentary. Those three I feel really stood out. I digress. She's made a name for herself. I've put it out there. Like, I think she fucking skipped and ditched out on an NXT tryout. Some people have jumped in my comments and have been like, no, Phil, that's wrong. She fucking was injured or something like that. She clarified all that. Okay, I'm not trying to spread rumors and innuendo, pal. But I'm just, it was just what was floating around out there, man. I don't fucking know, right? So, whatever, though. I'm a fan of her. She's made a name for herself. She's been making money on the indies, having matches with, you know, people who are up there, I guess, as far as the indies are concerned. And she's been involved in reality of wrestling, Booker T's Fed, and all of these sorts of things, right? She also got involved in Power Slap. Now, I thought they were doing like a season of the reality show. They weren't even doing that, dude. They didn't even realize, oh, we should fucking do a reality show with these wrestlers. They just fucking went after a bunch of indie wrestlers, did a training camp with them. Unless I'm wrong and there's a show coming out. But we've seen Hollywood Power Slap fight a couple times. So I'm taking a long way of getting to the point here, but she gets knocked the fuck out. Like, I was worried, and she knocked a couple ladies out, I believe, or one. And I mean, that feels great, but when you just like lose a coin toss, then get knocked the fuck out by a slap, like that's terrible. That doesn't help you any. I don't know if this helps your pro wrestling career any. I don't know if it's worth it. Like, how much are they realistically paying you to make it worth it? Now, if you're like a Paige Van Zandt, okay, she boxes, MMA fights, she could get head kicked and get KO'd if her demands are met as far as like, yeah, I want this much to do a slap fight. And like Paige Van Zandt goes out there and like boxes, and that makes more sense to me. But when you're a pro wrestler, it's like, you don't even need to be doing this, in my opinion, unless they're I don't know. Like, I'm not trying to pocket watch, but if they're paying her like more than the next gal because of her name value, okay, let's watch her entrance here.
Hollywood Haley J, 26 years old from Houston, Texas, been a pro wrestler for 6 years. She now holds 4 titles, including one in England. And
so they're putting over her pro wrestling credentials in Power Slap. That's how much of like not a real sport it is. And I like that as a mark. If like Brock Lesnar came to the ring and Bruce Buffer was like, you know, the former WWE champion, I would mark out for that. You know, there was a time when Severn would come to the ring with the super fight title and the NWA title, and they would do stuff like that. Okay. So I like all that. But in 2025, I would say like I understand how the majority of people would be kind of put off by that. But in Power Slap, that's what they go to. She has 4 titles, one in the UK, and she lost this coin toss. So she's going to get 1 slap KO'd for like what? How much do they pay you, dude? Like 5 and 5? Like 5 to show, 5 if you win, if you're lucky? Like
4 titles, including one in England. And oh, by the way, her mom.
And maybe in her mind, she's like, well, it beats like taking bumps that weekend or so. I don't know. But let's look at this KO. She's done. Yeah, she's done. And her head hits the thing. Did you guys see her head hit the thing? Look at this. And then it's like a cartoon character. Oh, that was a good one. And then you stumble around and fall. And I'm not making fun of her. It's because you're literally getting slapped silly with no defense. Like the whole part of, I don't know, man. The martial arts is about defending yourself and those who can't defend themselves or whatever. That's the whole like idea behind it. The idea, Brian. But that's like the Bushido, the warrior spirit. Get back up and keep fighting. But like, martial arts is about defense. Once that's eliminated, and that's also why boxing, they go, well, it's the sweet science. It's the art of like rolling and slipping and punching and parrying. That's all, right? That's all part of it. So once the defense goes out the window, to me, it's like, this isn't even in football, I would say is like a combat sport, man. You're like wrestling, the fuck slamming your head into each other, wrestling each other and has the ball, right? You could argue that's a combat sport because of its physicality, right? I would even listen to that debate. But even with Power Slap, I don't know if you could even classify it as that. It's like a circus show. And maybe that's why pro wrestlers are being preyed on now, because it's just easier to get them to agree to do dumb shit. And Dana White, we know what he thinks. He's like, dude, people in AEW and WWE, they get slammed in tax. They go through glass. They do dumb shit for less money than we're paying them now. I wouldn't trust Dana White on the money end of like, oh, we're paying them more. I wouldn't trust that. But he is right to some degree. When you turn on AEW and you see people get carved up and you're like, well, I don't, do I got to do that or just get slapped one time? These guys are fucking lighting each other on fire and doing shit for real. Like I could just get slapped for real one time. I'm not afraid of that type thing. It's a wild time, but it's just the virality of it all, you know? Speaking of virality, Matt Riddle, he was on this TMZ, and it didn't take TMZ, these fucking cornballs, to that long to get involved in like a work, work, brother. TMZ Inside the Ring, and shout them out. I mean, they've been getting good interviews, but they're exactly what you'd think TMZ would be. They're just the sleazeballs of like the IWC wrestling reporting. You know what I mean? Name a dirt sheet. They have more fucking, they're less sleazy, rather, is what I'm trying to say, than TMZ. And it didn't take them long to get into some work, work shit. They got Matt Riddle in the studio because they knew he was just going to pipe off and say some crazy, salacious shit. And they haven't really made as big of headlines since they got Matt Riddle on. It won't be long until Velveteen Dream's on here doing a fucking weekly segment or something. No, but Matt Riddle, dude, he gets asked if he's on good terms with Seth Rollins, and Matt Riddle says, I told Seth Rollins to talk shit about my wife, etc. He's like, I told him to say this stuff. So we have a couple clips, and then we'll get into the work, work angle, brother.
About my wife leaving me and taking my kids.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, oh, you know why she was able to do that? Because I was working like 5 days a week, traveling the world, and I couldn't take care of 3 kids.
So are you, as of right now, are you in good terms with Seth Rollins at all after all of that, or no?
I mean,
is there still any animosity?
If we were in a locker room, I think he's a swell guy and he's great. If I see him outside, swell guy, great. And if I see him at the same restaurant, are we gonna be like, oh, let's sit together? Probably not. I'll let him enjoy his
Really?
food. I'll enjoy my
You wouldn't
food.
even say hi to him?
I wouldn't want to bother him. I feel like we just have different different interests outside of wrestling. I think we're
Right.
both big into wrestling. And he probably likes some MMA. You know, I know he's big into the footballs. I'm not big into football or like baseball or anything like that, but I know he's into that. So I don't know. We just never hit it off like that, but we work very well together. I think he's a great wrestler.
It's funny. That's what Mark Henry said. He was like, "You'd be surprised how much like we don't get along backstage. Like people aren't really like friends."
Yeah, well, yeah, you see somebody every weekend, you kind of see the good and the bad. You're like, yeah, I don't want to fucking hang out with that guy. It's not a bad thing. It's not like, oh, he's
Yeah, I mean, it's just people working together. He's right. He's not being crazy here yet. We turn the volume up as we go throughout this interview, but it's just called being professional, folks. You work with some people you don't like, and sometimes you just fucking bite the bullet and do it because it's what's best for business. It's what's best for your business. And tolerating bullshit in life, not tolerating bullshit like you're gonna eat shit and like it, pal. But like we all have to tolerate some bullshit. Everybody scrapes a knee in life. It builds character. You know what I mean? Everybody's got to eat their peas now and again, right?
terrible person. But like Seth's on the road with Becky, they have their own bus. Like,
yeah,
he comes off his bus, he comes out, like he's only there for like 10 minutes, really. I'm in the locker room for like 8 hours,
Yeah.
Everyone's always putting themselves over. So Matt Riddle says Brock Lesnar cut the men's chamber match short by 15 minutes at Chamber 22. And then he throws Heyman under the bus here a little bit.
I've worked with Brock a couple times at a stream or elimination chamber in Saudi. He literally forgot what number he was supposed to come out, punched the plexiglass door, which isn't like super strong. Like I can kick through it, but you're not supposed to. And then he just bum rushed.
Yeah.
He cut the match by 15 minutes. He's like, he's like, oh, sell. Like
Yeah.
F5.
He writes his own ticket.
Yeah.
Essentially.
And then Paul Heyman pretended like it didn't happen, or he was like, oh, that was my mistake. And it's like, no, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It's fucking him, dude. Like he just went into business for himself. I've worked.
Yeah, but that's why people are loyal to Paul. Because he will fucking bite the bullet for you. Those are the kind of people you want in your corner. So Matt Riddle talks about apologizing to Roman Reigns. And again, like, what am I going to add to what he just said about Brock? Yeah, Heyman said it. We've all heard those shoot interviews. Like, if Brock does what he wants to do, is that a work or is that a shoot? That's largely a shoot. I think Pat McAfee or somebody said it, right? If the aliens come down, who do you send? Like, who do we go? This is our guy, our guy versus your best warrior, like winner takes earth or whatever. Who do we send? Brock's up there on that fucking list in his prime. Brock's the top of that list, probably even now. If we go Brock, you can do all the steroids, eat all the meat. You need to defend Earth. And we fucking gave Brock like the super soldier serum. Right now, he'd be the guy, he'd fucking Hulk smash. So, again, like he just went into business for himself. What the fuck are you going to do about it? Get mad at Paul Heyman? Like, that ain't going to get you nowhere. So, Matt Riddle apologized to Roman Reigns after saying he could beat him in a real fight. So let's listen to this clip. And you guys know my take. It's like Matt Riddle's, he slaps Gunther apparently. He shits on people and then in a town, and then they leave him behind, and then he shits on them for leaving him behind, and publicly they're like, fuck you. He walks around and is like, I could beat Bill Goldberg, or I could fucking beat up Roman Reigns for real. And my take is like, yeah, we all know. Everybody knows that. You don't need to say that, It's like Steven Seagal, when he was the tough guy on movie sets, he'd go onto movie sets and like for real break people's wrists or like go hard on extras and stunt doubles. And like, I think Sean Connery tells a story of Steven Seagal like shooting on him kind of. And it's like, bro, you don't need to, you don't need to come in here and like tough guy it's a fucking movie, right? It's the same with pro wrestling. Now, if it was like in the 90s or the 80s or the 70s, early 90s, 80s, 70s or whatever, and you come with this tough guy attitude and then someone fucking stretches you, okay. That's a whole other story. If you guys want to tough guy it out and Rick Steiner's like, nah, I'm tougher than you, bud, and you guys want to deal with that, okay, this is a different time. But in like the 2010s, 2025s and shit, it's like, we know you can beat everyone up, dude. Who gives a fuck, you know?
Oh, dude, he flipped out. He texted me.
Really?
Like,
Oh, really?
Look, you look not cool, dude. And I was like, oh shit, like I gotta like apologize. So I wrote like this long apology. And I go, Randy, how does this look? And
You
Randy
showed it to
goes-
Randy?
and no, I showed him, and he goes, nah, this isn't right. And because Roman's on SmackDown. This is during COVID, so we're still separated. And he's like, no, and we haven't done live events yet. So he's like, no, this isn't right. I know Joe, you know his name. And it's like, Roman, everybody has two names. I'm just Matt Riddle. I don't get it. But he fixes the text. He goes, here. And it was basically like,
Now you're the fucking bear pig. Now you're man bear pig. What is Sound Rich called? Now you're the sweat pig, the sweaty pig. No, dude. Matt Riddle is lucky he was able to parlay his name from UFC and the Ultimate Fighter reality show where he was a popular character on the season he was on. He was able to translate that into being able to use his own name in WWE. Not everybody's so fortunate.
my bad, bro. Maybe we'll work again. Work someday soon.
When was this again?
Oh, this is right before like 2 weeks before we went back to live events. And
This is not recent. I'm sorry. I thought you meant.
Yeah,
Like,
we thought you pissed him off
about-
we've worked since then. The guy loves me.
Yeah, you're cool.
Yeah, I would beat him in a fight though. That's just real.
Yeah. Do you think I could beat him in a fight?
Yeah, but when you're working with him, and listen, Matt Riddle doesn't understand that Roman's not pissed about you saying you could beat him up. He's pissed that, like, okay, I'm the world champion. We're making money here. We're doing business. And you're like going, yeah, but in real life, and I get it. It's not real life. And I get it. We can't put the tube back in the toothpaste, but there is an element of that in pro wrestling. It's all about selling. Why is it called selling? Why is selling for your opponent called selling? Because that's what it sells. It's what Flair did. He's considered the GOAT. He just sold for everyone. That's all he ever did. So it's that Matt Riddle. You don't get, he doesn't care that you could beat him up. It's not about that. It's about fucking what he's trying to accomplish here in the bigger picture of like, yes, we know, but this isn't UFC. In UFC, for sure. Be like, I'll beat you. My wrestling's better. My jiu-jitsu's better. My wrestling's my boxing's better. Whatever. In pro wrestling, it's like, bro, you're not even on Roman's level. You know, you partnered with Randy, then you got bigger than ever. And yes, was Riddle up there? Was he going to be a world champ and shit? There's a good shot of that. If Vince was still around, I think we could have seen a Matt Riddle like world title run, WWE title run. And I don't know if it'd be a long one. I don't know if it'd be a short one, but it really seems like Triple H and all them are like, no, we're good, you know? Because, like, think about it. Randy's boys with Triple H, Randy's boys with Riddle, or he was while they worked together. But everyone knew Riddle was, like, trouble, you know? And even though Triple H went to bat for Riddle and in NXT and all of that, he got pushed really hard. It's just, why isn't he back there? You know, there's a reason for that. And it just seems like the new regime and the new TKO shit is like, just better. And like Dana's on the board. He fucking hates Matt Riddle. He fucking, look up the promo, the videos of, maybe on Patreon, we'll watch like Matt Riddle, like his MMA career, his Ultimate Fighter appearances. There's this YouTube channel called Lerone, shout out Lerone, on YouTube, and he just uploads compilations of like all the Ultimate Fighter shit, and one that he made was like Matt Riddle's time on the show. Maybe we'll like watch that on Patreon or some shit, or maybe on like a Member Monday or something. But either way, I digress. Let's hear what he has to say here.
The guy is still a stellar athlete.
Yeah,
He looks great.
Yeah, no, for real.
You know,
and you got along with the guy, right?
But people were at a miss.
Business wise, of course. And also, you got like, this is, I try to tell this to people in pro wrestling. It's like, it's pro wrestling. Like, if I'm not talking shit, right? Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, but that's the wrong kind of shit talk. So the shit talk you're supposed to be doing.
Dude.
The shit talk you're supposed to be doing, Matt, is what you're doing with these guys right here in this moment. Right? Like, you just look like a bully in this moment. here against these guys. And in real life, when you're like, well, I could beat up Roman, I have more MMA training. Yeah, it just seems like bullyish. It's like, okay, people don't really care. And if he's working heel and he's like, I want that heel heat and shit, it just comes across like Ronda. It's like, we know, yeah, you can armbar every dude. You could walk into a bar, armbar every guy, line up every drunk guy in there. You probably armbar him, you know, but like, what does that have to do with what we're doing here in pro wrestling? Either way, I beat that to death. TMZ inside the ring, 30-second clip. He beats the hell. He grips up one of these reporters, pal. What? Crashed my ATV into.
Well, we could stop.
No.
We could stop if you want.
Stop what?
The podcast.
What are you worried about?
I don't know. Okay. Whoa. No, it's cool. It's cool. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't.
Oh,
serious? Take that shit off. I'm tired of this shit. Yeah, fucking left. That's your fucking boy. Get the down. Fucking stupid ass shit. Fucking asshole. You're lucky from my time.
Well, we could stop.
And he took the TMZ title. So if TMZ starts running like an indie fed, or if they start defending that thing on the indies, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to kind of pop for that. That's kind of funny. But this is TMZ's just the Jerry Springer of the IWC now, this inside the ring, man. They slid on the scene. They knew what they were doing, man. This is why wrestling's hot. I'm trying to tell you guys, like pro wrestling in general. I mean, you guys see all these fucking shows popped up everywhere. There's a billion wrestling shows. So I'm so grateful for each and every one of you who tune in. Like, it really means the world, you know? Like, in how many short years, like, we're not even at the 3-year mark. We've been doing gangbusters here. So at least for what I perceived, you know? So I just appreciate you all. But like, TMZ slides in and they're fucking just already Jerry Springer in it up, dude. They're the sleazy fucking, they're exactly what I kind of hoped they would be. And I'm not mad at it entirely. We're just here to fucking react to some of this stuff. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was miscellaneous news. Where the fuck is my bad news drop? Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
But like, clearly a work chat. We all agree on that, right? People debating that one. Come on now. That was clearly a work. So what else do we got? We have a juicy TNA news segment as well, that we are going to get into here. Some interesting things to talk about, but first, let me check in with chat here. Ray J's World for 2 says, Phil, guys, get your super chats in if you support what I do. There's 211 watching across X and YouTube right now. If you're on X, coming over to youtube.com/@ProWrestleClips, super chat in, or become a member if you support what I do, or you can just leave a comment, tell me fuck myself, hit like, all that good shit. I don't think there's a poll in the chat tonight. I think I just forgot to. Couldn't think of anything. Slow news week. Ray J's World for 2. Phil, are you team NXT or team TNA? It's tough. See, I mean, we covered this a lot, and like, you know, we've been talking about the invasion or the showdown, and I like both of these shows. Now, do I make sure that I watch TNA every single week? Nah. Do I make sure I see NXT every week? Yes. So maybe just like being honest with myself, NXT. I think I'm pulling for NXT. Well, but like, I want TNA to establish itself as, I just want this TV deal to get announced, see what they're on, and then see what kind of numbers they're putting up in like the first 6 months. Because I think it's going to shift everything. And with WWE and TNA being able to, now here's the thing. I don't know if this only applies to WWE or WWE and TNA, but there's like a 60-day, I believe, window where they can say, okay, 60 days and we're done our partnership, you know? And if all it is 60 days, if TNA secures a TV deal and then let's say 3 months go down the road, and then they say, okay, we want to end our partnership. I'm not sure if they're allowed to do that on TNA's end or if that's only on WWE's end, but yeah, I mean, they could totally do that. In like a year's time, we don't know what the landscape of pro wrestling is going to look like. So I'm like rooting for TNA, but obviously in the kayfabe sense, I mean, I mean, Trick's got that TNA title. It doesn't feel right, so I guess I kind of want to see the men win on the TNA. I'm fence sitting, Phil. What can I say? But I guess like NXT, because it's my if I'm sorry, let's be honest. Like, we've almost had TNA go away a few times in our lifetimes, right? If that happened, would I be like, oh, crying and shit? No. If NXT went away, I'd be way more sad. You know what I mean? Just being honest. So I guess I'm Team TNA. NXT. I'd be wearing a Team TNA shirt, then I'd rip it off like the Big Show and reveal that I'm NXT. Right? That would be my pick, I guess. So NXT. But speaking of TNA and NXT, let's jump into these things here and play a fucking banjo. Good old country road Canadian TNA news. Yeehaw! So Tessa Blanchard is returning to CMLL. What the hell, dudes? She's going here to fucking wrestle, and they're partnered with fucking AEW, and the IWC's brains have melted. Or maybe just mine, but I did not anticipate this. I thought they would try and, just knowing her history, I thought they would try and like WWE would try and get her on some of those AAA shows, because it would kind of like be a jab at CMLL. But people got to understand this as well. The relationships and the loyalties and shit in Mexico, it just works differently. And AAA and CMLL, it's like a divide. You're either kind of CMLL or AAA, you know? I'm not saying the fans. I'm sure the fans are just enjoying all the hot wrestling, but maybe there is some of that. But, you know, Tessa has a history, so I thought for sure they'd try and like weaponize her, pal. That's what Dave would say. Well, you know, she's a weapon. The movie Weapons, Brian. That was my auntie. And the witch. Spoiler alert. So yeah, this honestly did shock me, but not where it's like, oh my God, I gotta go see CMLL to see Tessa Blanchard fucking wrestle. Not in that way, just I definitely thought TKO and WWE and TNA with that relationship, they would try and like insert her in some AAA shit to sort of take a jab at CMLL, but I digress. This is on Espanol.
Así que no se pierdan la reaparición de Tessa Blanchard y de ahí para adelante. ¿Sí?
Sí, por favor.
¿Nos echamos una concha ahorita terminando?
Ay, tú sabes que sí, un concha, un rebanada de mantequilla, bueno, un panadería completa.
Yeah, so she will be back in CMLL. If you CMLL, what The Rock is cooking, who's trending right now, by the way. But TNA is in active negotiations for new media rights deal. And I know this is sort of making the rounds, but I thought that Carlos Silva pretty much made that, like he said there's a 90-day window, or was that just only specifically speaking of a TV deal? I don't know, man, but it's going to happen. Carlos Silva feels if TNA continues to build itself as a product, there could be people down the line inquiring about giving investment dollars or even buying the company. And yeah, this is what's interesting, is that he's still open to this notion. Like, I don't see TNA and WWE being partnered forever. Otherwise, TKO would have bought this shit up already. They're, for some reason, well, not some reason, we kind of know, but WWE's really lending a helping hand to TNA. But even if they unpartner, let's say, it doesn't mean that TNA and WWE won't have like a good, cordial business relationship that was established in the past. Like, okay, we could meet up again and do business, and it'll benefit everyone, even if we're not on like a signed, like an agreed upon partnership with a 60-day termination clause or whatever the fuck, right? And so this relationship is good for wrestling overall, in case TNA ever decides like we're going to fuck off. I think at Bound for Glory, we'll hear about it. I've been saying it forever. I think that's where we'll find out about the TV deal, maybe the week after. Me and Switchblade were DMing about how, you know, TNA's just rocking, and like with these most recent AEW ratings that were in the 400,000s for Dynamite, I showed you guys this Switchblade's breakdown of the trends of every network or station, whatever the fuck TNA's been on, how they've done like 3x the number of the average, that blah, 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 blah. We broke that down. You guys have to go. I can't even regurgitate it because unless it's right in front of me, but you guys can go back, and I've covered it a couple of times on the show. Okay. Just to refresh our memories, because this is really going to come into play once the TV deal's announced and stuff. We can look at how TNA's trended with their ratings in the past on Spike and Pop and da-da-da, and we can give an estimation of like, hey, maybe they can do this. This would be their trend. Maybe it doesn't work out, but either way, if AEW's putting up 400,000s, I'm super confident if TNA gets on CW, they'll be doing that no problem. And then it's just like conversation over as far as like if there's a competition between AEW and WWE. Period. Like that's just the end of it right there. AEW doesn't even have to go out of business. It's just that's it right there. Then it's a battle between TNA, AEW, who can then get bigger than the other, swallow the other, to potentially go after WWE. Like that's what the conversation becomes. If it's not already that, I feel like it's been that for a long time. But of course, you got to play these goddamn games. We make fun of Dave. We make fun of all the sycophants out there. And so it's part of the game. But and shout out the TNA holes. I'm one of them. But Carlos Silva says we're going to keep building the product and keep build. Oh yeah, I was talking to Switchblade though about. Sorry, I wanted to mention this. Like, dude, it would be awesome to see like TNA and AEW duke it out on Wednesdays. I know that's what people want. And like me as a wrestling fan, it would be fucking hilarious. But they've carved their path on these Thursdays. And I think Collision is going to get moved to Thursday permanently or be tacked on to that extra hour of Dynamite. I truly believe that. And I could see Collision not even existing that much longer. So if I'm TNA, dude, I'm not lowering myself to like, and it's weird that we're saying lowering because people are probably like, oh my God, can you believe this? Like AEW's lowering themselves to TNA's level type thing. But I wouldn't even like acknowledge that. Make the war about NXT TNA on the CW. Who gets the better ratings? That's the fucking way to do it, because it's not quite Raw and SmackDown, and let them compete and let the people cross over, and then it just benefits everybody. And then if Collision gets moved to Thursdays, then you spank their ass with that being your night. And then whether Collision was like being written off or not, TNA looks like the winner there. Duking it out on Wednesdays. I mean, that'll be fun as fuck. I'll be fucking grinning ear to ear if they choose it, because that's where it's like you're going to see the IWC get real toxic. You're going to see it get if it isn't already, ooh boy, is it going to get bad. But that just makes it seem like TNA, them just focusing on their own shit. And with Carlos Silva, the greater point I'm getting at is them focusing on them. And with Carlos, his mentality seems to align with your boy Phil here. I think he's just focused on them and what they're doing. Primarily, he doesn't, when fucking Alvarez and these guys are talking about the NXT TNA crossover, he doesn't chime in. But when they're talking about Moose specifically or something, he'll fucking chime in. He gives direct answers, and he's like, yeah, the partnership's great, but it's not, they don't decide what we do and shit. And that's the energy he needs to fucking keep. Because it's even like, yeah, we're partnered with WWE, but we're also partnered with AAA, or we're partnered with fucking CMLL. We're partnered with fucking, we'll go to Maple Leaf Pro, whatever, we're partnered with whatever. We're just looking at good relationships, etc. That's the energy you need to keep, because that lets the TNA holes know you're riding for them. You're not like, maybe we can sell this to TKO, like, no, fuck that. Just stay in your own lane. This is what's been making TNA so good in the first place. And yes, they scoop up ex-WWE, but no company doesn't. Like, no indie that you care about, no show, no promotion doesn't do that. Everybody was in WWE, so fucking big and had a monopoly for how many years? Everybody's been in WWE in some form or everyone's had a tryout. Everybody's fucking gotten squashed. Everybody's been there and done that in some capacity. I digress. So Carlos says, we're going to keep building the product and keep building the audience and keep building the digital platforms and the social. We're going to keep building our partnerships we have with WWE and NXT, which is great. That's going to bring in sponsorships. We're going to keep building up the engine. If we do all that, yeah, there could definitely be people that come and knock on our door and say, can we give you investment dollars? Or they may say, can we buy you? But if we don't build the product or make it great, none of that stuff happens. That's a great problem to have. Now, Carlos Silva's dropping a lot of greats, like Tony Khan here. I don't know. Is this just like what's in the fucking pro wrestling booker handbook? Like everything's just fucking great for these guys. TNA President Carlos Silva says the company is actively negotiating with a partner for a potential TV streaming deal. And he says, we are now in active negotiations with a partner and we're going to work through that. I can't really put a timeline on how long that will take. The good news is that process has started. We're no longer just talking to a bunch of people to sort of gauge interest. Now we have an interested partner and working through potentially a deal for 2026. Okay, so it's going to happen as soon as it can happen. So I'm not saying that means it has to happen January 1st, but like October, November, December, maybe they announce it. I was thinking BFG. And again, that's based on Silva said, hey, there's a 90-day window around BFG. That's about the 80-some 90-day window. So I figured they had something, but they were just going to break it out then. And maybe they are. Maybe this guy's being smart and saying, nah, expect it later so that he can just fucking surprise everyone. But hey, 2026. And he's like, as soon as it can happen, it'll happen. Let's go, dude. I would love to see TNA on the CW competing with NXT, like the way Raw and SmackDown could have been competing with each other in a way. But they don't have like WWE branding on both of them, you know? So TNA Bound for Glory, the tickets distributed 4,518. We're going to talk about this in AEW news a little bit as well and see what their show's doing that same week or the week after, pardon me. But yeah, dude, they are set up for 5,200 people, 5,300 people, and it'll likely sell out. They might even have to open more if it can. Total number of seats. So 7,000. I mean, they could maybe do the 7,000. I'll admit this. I'll take the L. I thought they'd be doing like 8,000 for their pay-per-views by now. Like I thought this one would clear 8,000 easy. I'll take the L on that one, but I knew this was going to happen where TNA was going to get comparable or better ticket sales for PLEs than AEW. And if they get a TV deal, I tweeted it out, people's heads are going to start spinning, you know? Speaking of head spinning, the Inspiration, aka the Iconics, Cassie Lee and Jessica McKay, they became the TNA Knockouts champions. Everybody kind of knew this was going to happen, especially once Ash vacated her title. And well, they were building up to it. You know, they gave the Elegance brand their run. And I'm not saying break the Elegance brand up or anything like that, but you could see the writing on the wall. And this is good. This is good for the Bound for Glory show and the Showdown show and all of that, which I'm so excited for on Tuesday. Joe Hendry, Carlos Silva confirms here that Joe Hendry is still under TNA contract. So again, he just confirms what your boy Philly Phil's been saying, right? So Phil don't miss here. Carlos says, yes, he is still under contract. You know, he is until he's not, but he is. And Joe's been great. Joe's been great for us. Joe's been great with WWE and NXT. We'll continue to sort of work through that as good partners do. So it's just essentially like Joe's there. He has access to the PC and all that shit. And he's there on NXT like more than he is with TNA. Or maybe, I don't know, you could, is he on, I think he's made all the tapings. Was he on the Edmonton tapings and shit? I'm not sure, but yeah, Joe is that guy. And it's like the Jordan Grace deal. Like he will fucking, it's just once his deal's up, I think it's like at the start of 26. When's the Rumble? I can't remember, but they'll let him go for the Rumble like they did with Jordan, and he'll just be free to be in WWE. And I could see him after this sort of Showdown shit and after this contract, like Rumble shit clears up, like come the Rumble, I could see him just like going right to SmackDown or something, you know? I could even see Joe Hendry as like GM of Raw one day and stuff like that. So I don't expect him to be in NXT too terribly long once his TNA deal's up, but as long as he's in TNA, it makes sense to keep him in NXT. He's already gotten WrestleMania spots. He's already been at the Fan Expo. He's already gotten Rumble spots and shit. Like there's a good future for him in WWE, no matter what role he takes. Speaking of roles you take, TNA ring announcer and former WWE interviewer Mackenzie Mitchell comments on her role working in TNA, but also designing Seth Rollins' signature necklace. And she actually tweeted out, yeah, I designed jewelry for, like, I think, again, I'm going to fuck it up, but it's just like Carmelo Hayes, I think she did, and Seth. But I don't want to just start throwing names. I'm trying to think, like, who's wearing chains. But just all the dope chain designs you're seeing, she's making these for Rollins and Hayes, and she named some folks. And she's also married to Vic Joseph, I believe. So shout them out. I'm a huge fucking Vic Joseph fan. And yeah, let's take a listen. Oh, yeah, she names them here. Fallon Henley.
My design.
And this is courtesy of Busted Open and Denise Salcedo as well.
On the likes of Trick Williams, Fallon Henley, Roxanne Perez, Seth Rollins.
There you go. I'm like beating around the bush. Who is it again? Trick and Roxanne. She fucking just says it. I didn't know.
The moment of at SummerSlam, I had no idea. Him, and then you see the briefcase.
She quote tweeted it and started listing names again. So I might have that bookmark too, but I just fucked up.
And you see this giant necklace piece on it. And it was a surprise to me. Like, that is like a career highlight in my life, to be like, wow, so many people saw that moment.
He wears that one a lot. So that one's yours, right?
That is my design. Yeah. I actually, fun story about this, at WrestleMania this past year, I sent him a DM and I said, listen, could I make you a custom piece? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. And I said, do you have any creative design? Like, do you have any thought behind it? He's like, Mackenzie, I trust you. Whatever you want to make, I will absolutely wear it. So we started with his like original gold one that's like a 20-inch that goes right here. And then we made a longer 24-inch. So we just debuted the matte black a couple weeks ago. So he actually had told my husband, he's like, this has become my new identity. And I never really thought that.
Nice. I hope they stick with the black for both of them, for Becky and Seth. I said that the last time they were out there together.
A necklace and an
They've done it 2 or 3 times in a row, I want to say now. At least twice.
Accessory would have paired so well with my career, but here we are.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. And I'm glad she's like found a role making jewelry for folks. Myron Reed, who recently challenged for the X Division title, member of the Rascals on the TNA roster. He's the Wrestling Revolver champion. I think he's also the HOG World Champion. He might have dropped that one, but he was attacked by Jake Christ and Nevaeh's daughter. So he got attacked by a little girl, by a little kid. So I'm curious if we're going to hear Jim Cornette go on a rant about this. He might not even see it. Let me know, chat. Does this trigger you seeing a kid hit a tornado DDT on Myron Reed here?
This young lady, Myron, you bastard. Wait a minute! What? Oh my God!
Like a tilt-a-whirl DDT. Let's look at the replay on that.
This young lady, Myron, you bastard.
I mean, it's on an indie, but
Wait a minute! What? Oh my God!
yeah, I don't know how you guys feel about that, man. Let me know if it triggers you or not. Now, we're going to need flutes in the chat because, you know, I do a show called Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific here on youtube.com/@ProWrestleClips. And, of course, there's the Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week official playlist chronicling all the way back from PWT episode 1. You guys can check that out. But we need flutes in the chat because it is time for a mini Dave Meltzer dumb moment. He's not even really being dumb here, but we'll play a flute anyways because it's cute, and I'm a cutie pie. That's why. But Dave just kind of gets triggered by Jordan Grace calling Joe Hendry, and she, I guess, literally has thought until now that Joe Hendry's name is Joe Henry. And they explain it here. We'll read her tweet. They got the screen grab here. And what's funny is that it reminded me of, do you guys remember that meme we made? It's in our Discord for sure. It's a bit. It might even be in PWT lore. like the PWT glossary. We have like a dictionary of terms and stuff. Get in the Discord. There's a link somewhere to get in the Discord. But there's John Hendry is what, or what was his name? John Henry is what Ariel's guy, Ariel Helwani, on the Ariel Helwani show. They're like, oh yeah, we love John Henry. And like the guy wasn't being ironic or sarcastic. Like I think he thought that was his name. It just popped me because it reminded me of that. But yeah, Jordan Grace tweeted this out. She says, the fact that I've been saying Hendry's name wrong for years and no one corrected me says more about y'all than me. And the joke is that like Jordan said his name wrong, but he still appeared.
Jordan Grace calls him Joe Henry. And she apparently has always thought that his name is Joe Henry.
Not Hendry.
Right. She just thought it was Joe Henry. So that's what she said.
I love John Henry.
And, you know, that was that. So she found out.
Yeah, I got me a Joe Henry bar down at the 11-7.
After the show, from all of the people on social media, that in fact his name is Joe Hendry. And she said that
so Jordan Gray says, I thought the D was silent, like in handsome and budget, Wednesday, etc. Jordan. And I love Jordan Grace, by the way. Follows PWT. Shout you, you're a bruv. Listen. I thought the D was silent, like in handsome. The D isn't, I don't think it's silent. Budget, I think it's, you know, Wednesday. You don't go like Wednesday. I get that, but it's like Wednesday. Like it isn't silent, I don't think. But yeah, like real G's move in silence, like lasagna is what you're going. Because I guess, right, handsome, like sandwich. Some people just like a sandwich, or even throw an M in there, sandwich, but it's sandwich, right? So I don't know. I don't know if technically we need like somebody who. What's someone who like studies language, or like a speech pathologist or something would have to come in here and be like, technically it's not silent, you know, but very, very cute of her to fucking botch this for sure.
Knew it was spelled that way, but she thought the D was silent.
But like who, but like, but that still works though. Because what I'm saying, I'm like sandwich, handsome, Henry. I mean, if I said Hendry or Hendry, you guys really tell the difference? Like Hendry. I'm still enunciating the D. I'm putting emphasis on my tongue to put the D. Hendry. It's still like Henry. She's not wrong. She's not entirely wrong. I'm with her on this. I'm Team Jordan Grace on this. Dave.
That's
wow.
true.
I just don't like Dave is what it is.
That's the
I believe her.
No, I'm sure it's true.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's true. So she just
it is
thought
true,
it was,
Dave. You're a liar.
Jordan Gray.
You're a liar, Dave. And you get called out by wrestlers. We're going to cover that Thursday on Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week, Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific here at youtube.com/at Pro Wrestle Clips. And ladies and gentlemen, that was good old TNA news. Yeah. So what else we got to get in? We're going to get into some news. We got some more news to get into tonight, guys. I'm going to check in with chat here in just a moment. Should we do a little throwback? We have a long sickos, but it's not like it's overloaded with like meltdowns and shit. We just have a long thread or two in the sicko segment. So I'm curious if we should do some throwbacks. I know that I'm throwing back a couple bears. What? So let me check in with chat here first. Maybe we should do AEW and WWE news. We just did TNA news. Maybe let's switch over to WWE news because it's sort of connected. Shit should almost be in the same folder, but it's not. I'm with Carlos Silva on that. So let's switch over here. See what's going on. Okay, there is like 250. It fluctuates 240 watching across X and YouTube. If you're on X, youtube.com/at Pro Wrestle Clips, guys, consider super chatting in or becoming a member, gifting memberships. That's how you support what I do. Hit like as well. We try and run the likes up to 100, but that's all. That's up to you guys. You guys on YouTube got to hold it down. So even if you're hate watching, run those likes up. or I'm just going to babble more. Rabid Wolverines LC Killer 17 for 5 says, I'm Team TNA because the story they're telling me on TV, TNA to me is the underdog. See, and that's why we're rooting for them. That's why I said in the men, and thank you so much. I will acknowledge you.
Acknowledge me.
Thank you for your support, Rabbids Wolverine LC Killer 17. I'm with you on that. Like in the men's match, especially, it's like, yeah, they're the dogs. In the women's match, it's kind of like the NXT's the dogs, though. A little bit, because Kalani defected to Team TNA with their title. And then they're like, oh, we're bringing Mara Sade, and like people who worked in NXT who kind of have a vengeance against them a little bit. And on that women's side, it seems more like TNA kind of upper edged them by Santana convincing Kalani to join their shit. I love it. I love that we talk. It should be Rival Ring Tuesday and Thursdays. NXT Tuesday, TNA Thursdays, head to fucking head ratings wise on the CW in that regard. I'm so there for all of that. I'm so fucking there for all of that. Rabid Wolverines, LC Killer 17. Holy shit. But I agree with you on the men's side. It is like TNA is kind of the dogs, and and I'm kind of rooting for them. When it comes to the tag titles though, it's like, again, I would say NXT's the dogs on that. Because you're fucking facing the Hardy Boys, and I'm cheering for the Hardy Boys. I don't know. It's more like I'm kind of cheering for Team TNA because who doesn't like the underdog story, and who doesn't want to see the Hardys grab those NXT belts one time? I'm sure there's a lot of people, but but at the same time, it's like I said before, if TNA just like if something, and I don't wish this, but if like TNA just disappeared and there was no TNA. I would be devastated. I would be, because that fucking sucks. Like I fucking, you go on my 2K game, I download their belts and arenas and shit. You know what I mean? I love fucking TNA, and I stuck through TNA even in the dirty, dastardly old days. But it wouldn't I thought TNA was going away like 4 times in my lifetime, so it wouldn't I'm devastated if NXT they just snap their fingers. No NXT, no developmental anymore. I would be terribly sad. I'd be like, what the fuck? Because even NXT 2.0, I know for a bit it was in a lull, but then it got so good, and then I'm talking with the tie-dye colors. NXT 2.0 got good, man, and then it turned into what it is now, the Platinum era and shit. But I've read with NXT as well, and just seeing what they've done, like how much it's paid off for the wrestling business as a whole. Pro wrestling in general has benefited from NXT being a fucking thing. It's my take. Ray J's World for 2 says, where's Jericho? Where's Jericho? Well, Ray J, since you super chatted in, joining us on the show, Chris Jericho.
I look and see it's not just me. So many others have stood where I stand. We are the young, so raise your hand. They call us problem child. We spent our lives on trial. We walk an endless mile. We are the youth gone wild. We stand and we won't fall. We're one and one for all. The writing's on the wall. We are the youth gone wild. Let me get wild. Yay!
You gotta give the people what they want. You've got to give the people what they want. Yes. So what was going on where Stat and Tony were laying in the ring together? What was going on with all that, guys? Who watched Collision tonight? What was that all about? I'm very curious to see. 62-year-old man gone wild. LOL. Okay, guys. Hell yeah. Let's get into WWE, some Federation news. That is the next thing we need to get into. Okay, let's see. So, yeah, okay, let's go. We'll do this. Yeah, we'll talk about that next show. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, I'm a one-man team here, god damn it. Crack a beer, might fuck around, drive an ATV, drive a four-wheeler into the Connor's Cure for Cancer section. What? Into the Hall of Fame section. Look out, old people. No. Here we go. Let's pour this into a tall glass. Get something hoppy in my brain there. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is time. It is time for everybody's favorite segment. I don't know why I'm doing Dave shit, but it is WWE news. Maybe it's not. Maybe you're a sicko and you fucking hate WWE. But either way, Shane McMahon's son. Now, maybe this could have been in miscellaneous news as well, but ESPN, WWE adjacent talk. If it's WWE adjacent plus like ESPN or Netflix, it goes into WWE news. If it's like WWE adjacent, but it's like, you know, Linda McMahon's like in office now, she's not fucking, then it goes in miscellaneous news, just so you guys know. Shane McMahon's son, Declan, landed an ESPN internship. Now, I just bookmarked it because I don't really give a fuck. Let's be honest. CM Punk was at Dancing with the Stars last night. So, I mean, George Lopez is there. Who can we recognize? Jamie Leff, Forever Fine Jewels, Jen Ben's mom. I don't know, just some folks. Oh, there's Lauren Lipinski or whatever the fuck. She's a stand-up. And then, yeah, Punk was there, so good for him. Maybe he'll compete like Jericho. It'll be the first AEW WWE crossover event. Speaking of crossovers, WWE NXT had a big like crossover show with TNA. And the numbers were down from recent weeks, but we're still on the higher end of what the show has been doing over the past couple of months. So they scored 664K viewers, down 6% from last week. And then the key demo was down 6%. Year over year, NXT was down 26% in total viewers. That's brutes. While the 18 to 49 was down 39% last year's episode, which is brutes. But again, now Meltzer won't say this when it comes to NXT and shit. He will never say like, oh, the people. I mean, I know these are US numbers, but you could realistically argue that there's enough people internationally watching on Netflix to boost these NXT. Like, we're talking NXT is more in the conversation of SmackDown and Raw than like Dynamite or TNA is. Like Dave was trying to say Dynamite, oh, it could be close to Raw. NXT, if you factor in the international numbers and shit, okay, is way closer to Raw than anything if we're talking about anything. And how do we know? Because they keep beating AEW and people are just like, well, it's just the US numbers that we're looking at, and also we don't know max, but it just doesn't, you can't play that. That's where it just gets too semantical and it gets too redacted and it's just annoying. It's like, fuck, if you were number one, okay, NXT, every time I fucking turn on my Netflix, Raw, SmackDown, and NXT are in the top 10. If that was Dynamite and Collision, I would be putting it over and the sickos would be like, number one on fucking Netflix. What do you go, number one show? And people wouldn't be, it would be hard to argue it. You'd be like, man, they're fucking crushing number one on net. So like Stranger Things, you know, that's crazy to be able to like put that on your fucking checklist every week. Whenever I turn on fucking Netflix, there's WWE something always in the top 10 or top 5. So, I mean, that's an incredible feat. I don't know why the debate goes further than that, but the ratings shit, although it's lame, it's now interesting a little bit again because of this Nielsen shit until it starts destroying AEW like it's been. They're going to keep doing it over and over and over, and then that shit will get tiresome too, but that's just the name of the game, baby. So last Monday's Raw, with a special start time of 7 p.m. Eastern, pal, garnered its lowest views and hours viewed in show history on Netflix. Damn. Taking hits. The show scored 2.3 million views globally for the week per Netflix data, down 12%, with 4.5 million hours viewed, down 2%. The show ranked 4 for the week in the US on Netflix, even with the prior week, and 8 globally, down from 7. So wrestling, WWE taking a bit of a ratings hit as well. Nowhere near as bad as AEW, though, with their 6-year anniversary show that Tony's trying to hype up. 6 years. I mean, that should be, Andrade debuted and they put up, like, I think their lowest numbers in history. Fucking crazy. Has Raw put up their lowest numbers in history? Not yet. Or that was it right there. I was just going to say, but that was it right there, I guess, on Netflix. So in their history on Netflix, that was their lowest shit. We played them the sad trombone. That's not good. Book better shows. I got Husey fucking complaining in my DMs. Now, if you want to pull a Dave is like, to defend AEW. Now, he wouldn't say this any other week, but to defend AEW, he's like, man, all of wrestling took a big hit, lumping it all together like it's everybody. I don't know, man. I'm just going to say, you know what? Husey's right when he hits me up and he's like, every SmackDown is just a fucking tag match. There's just a tag match, and then what tag match is the main event this week? And at first, even I was like, oh, it's kind of cute. It's like a nod to Teddy Long. But yeah, it's just, and maybe I'm just like sour on the vision. Maybe I just don't care for when like you're Raw superstars, but then you're just like, well, we're just going to main event SmackDown and there's no real brand difference or anything. Maybe I just shit on that. But see, we're being critical of WWE here, fucking sickos. So The Undertaker gave an intense backstage speech to the WWE locker room over a Raw milestone. So let's read what this says here. An Undertaker coming through. You've done it now. Gone and made a big mistake. So while speaking to the Pat McAfee show, Rhodes said that I think the last time we had someone talking to the whole group was when we had Undertaker talking about Netflix Raw and just what that meant. I think it's great because some of the younger ones might not see him. They might not realize who the Undertaker was. Yeah, that's good. Now they don't realize who he is. They just make fun of him for having his wife be attached to his hip. WWE has filed to trademark this logo. So it's like this old school WWE logo, which is awesome. And I'm sure I don't know, but I'm sure they had that trademark before and are like re-upping it. Or is this just like a one of a kind? I could see them trademarking this as well. You guys got to understand AI. Now, no one's talking about this. Only at PWT are you going to hear anybody even bring this up. But you know how they like blur out the old WWE logos and shit? It'll be a time where they just AI the ads into like the new logo and all this shit. So I already know that there's the television biz is already steps ahead in that regard when it comes to like old IP and stuff like that. And just even like doing tests on shit like that, like what can we do now already? And And so re-releases could be, who knows, they might AI Greedo shooting first out after put it in there. So check out this GIF from this guy here from Evolve. I forget his name. What's his name again? Is that Jack Cartwheel? Yeah, it's Jack Cartwheel. I forget what's his last name though. His real last name, whatever. He does this crazy, like that's just insane. So speaking of WWE ID, here is their little ad for WWE ID goes into. Anybody get my Greedo shooting first line? No, they're gonna edit that out after they edit it in of Han. Whatever, you guys. This is helping the indies tremendously. So WWE announced a special edition of NXT will take place on Tuesday, November 18th from the theater at MSG. Let's fucking go. That's going to be awesome. Moving along here. Bronson Reed quietly re-signed to WWE under a multi-year deal. That's awesome. Hopefully he's signed for a while. I can't see Triple H ever letting this guy go. And good for Bronson Reed. But he beat Okada. He could wrestle Okada, but Jonah beat Okada.
Stupid idiot.
So the infamous Flasher from the Attitude Era was at WrestlePalooza. Now, is this the same girl? Like, I don't fucking know. How do you even figure that out? Or did she cop to it? Did she cop to it? I don't know. Let's ask Lex Luger. Lex, what did she cop to it?
I don't know.
Me neither, bud. But yeah, she's from that DX video where she flashes her tatas, and she's here all these years later in an ESPN 316 shirt doing the damn thing. There you go, dude. Once you're click for life, brah. So Kevin Owens dressed up like John Cena for Halloween, dude. How fucking funny is this? And what's his wife, like a gypsy or a pirate? Is that what she's dressed up as? Like a genie or something? Yeah, there you go. That's a cute outfit. I love that. And he's got the knee pads and everything. Good shit. So we're going to circle back to that because there's some stuff going on with WWE's wellness policy. We're just going to talk about what Lucha Blog wrote. But NXT's Charlie Dempsey and Harlem Lewis had their match at Pro Wrestling Noah today. So let's check out a clip of this. Shout out Noah. Oh, I didn't realize they went there together to fight each other there. That's pretty awesome. I mean, it breaks kayfabe as fuck, but like, what are you going to do about it, you know? And good on Regal getting him and some of these guys out there, but like the what happens at LFG doesn't fucking matter because because like the fucking Harlem Lewis just went to Japan. He's going to be in NXT anyways. So speaking of NXT, Ava announced that Jordan Grace will be the special guest referee for the women's NXT versus Team TNA match at Showdown.
All right, Jordan, you're right. You made some pretty good points. And you know what? I agree with you. I don't think that there would be this NXT TNA crossover partnership without everything that you've done starting 2 years ago. So I have decided that you are going to be the special guest referee for the Women's Survivor Series style match on Tuesday. Now, with that said, I know that you have a history with a lot of these women, so I'm asking you, please be professional and use your discretion. I'll see you Tuesday. All right.
Fair enough. What side is she on? Oh, come on now. Come on, brain. So Mark Henry says WWE changed the design of the ECW championship. I've always wondered this. Because obviously it's like Vince putting his stamp on it, but the big silver ECW world title, I never was a fan. Right? And they tried to put like a fiery eagle on it because Vince always had to like put an eagle on his titles, on his main ones. But also they wanted it to look different from the big gold and the WWE title. Okay, let's go with this chrome title. I never liked it as much as like the OG ECW championship. Personally, and I always wondered why they did this if it wasn't like if the answer is just, well, Vince wanted his fingerprint on it, whatever. Okay, that makes sense. But if the answer is something different, that would appeal to me, right? That would pique my interest as a Phil S. Marks, right? So Mark Henry had this to say. They wanted to find a title that fit me. So it was all to fit Mark Henry. He's the reason. And think about it. Didn't Big Show have this shit too at one point? But then little Chavo and like Matt Hardy got this shit. So quite a funny timeline of events, I guess. Did Big Show, or I know Big Show held the other one, but didn't he get this silver one as well? Or did he just run with the gold and red and blue there? Either way, he says that ECW title was small. It was like one of the old school type belts, and they wanted me to have a belt fitting of a giant, so they designed this. I mean, that belt was huge. It was probably about 10 to 12 pounds. It was very heavy. I had to go buy a new bag for a carry-on because it wouldn't fit in my old luggage. So yeah, I'm curious as if is Mark Henry's timeline right on that? Because I think Big Show was the champ before him. I'd have to like Wikipedia the timeline of champions, I guess. But yeah, I mean, there you go. Bailey was on an indie dancing with LJ Cleary, better known as Lyra Valkyria's husband. I'm totally joking. LJ Cleary rules. He's just a small dude. He had a tryout with WWE. I don't know if it worked out, but he's crushing it on the indies and in Europe and shit. And here's Bailey just showing him support. He's known better to me as Hughesy's friend. Another joke, by the way. Here we go. And he comes out, it's a beautiful night. Good shit. Speaking of the good shit, Andrade is accused of, he was accused of failing multiple wellness policies. Now, I will say this. He was escorted out of some shit. He took off and didn't answer and went on vacay. Right? That stuff may be all true. Did he fail a wellness test? Maybe one for sure. I don't know if there was like multiple, but there's rumors like he failed multiple. And then now there's conspiracy theories afoot about WWE. They're accused of selectively enforcing wellness policy after Andrade's release. But it's so funny. It's like, but he just walked into AEW. So where are you fucking sickos talking about that? Like he just walked into, there's no wellness in AEW. You know what I mean? So whatever, though, not to make it about AEW or play a whataboutism, but it's like, come on, where's anybody saying that type of shit? No, you're not going to hear that come from anybody. But, oh, WWE, they actually have a wellness policy. And because they tried to fucking maybe not, here's the thing with WWE. This is why Andrade walked into AEW. There's no contract tampering or anything like that either, because there's those conspiracy theories floating around, and to defend AEW, which I'm sure Tony's just fucking ecstatic about. They didn't contract tamper or anything like that. It was WWE just released him. Like, yeah, he took off and it is what it is, but they just decided to like cut him. That is true. If anyone's saying that, I don't know what sheets are saying what, but that is true. But they're accused of selectively enforcing this wellness policy. So, like, what are they trying to say? Oh, you were lit here and you weren't lit there? I don't fucking know. Lucha Blog points this out, though, and he has his fingers on the pulse of Lucha. I will say that. Okay? He might not be a big fan of WWE. He might maybe not be so favorable towards AAA and stuff, but he is like a diehard Lucha bro. And he's people, again, Ringside News is citing him. I'm not saying he's like a fucking journalist. Maybe he is. I don't know if he's considered like a journalist or how people view him. But when he starts talking Lucha, like people perk up and they start listening for a reason, you know? So PW Insider reported that, and I'm going to say this about the Andrade thing. I'm going to tell you guys this. If PWI is saying anything about the Andrade shit, I would just trust what they're saying. And I'll leave it at that. So Andrade was cut due to numerous wellness violations over the last year. I don't know. So addressing the report, Lucha Blog pointed out that the word numerous raises serious questions about how the policy is being enforced. or if PWI is embellishing. However, I'm inclined to believe PWI on this one fully, just my opinion. But Lucha Blog says, if someone truly violated it multiple times, there should have been suspensions, but Andrade's WWE match record shows me 30 or 90-day gaps that would indicate any punishment. Now, maybe the punishment's just 2 weeks now, guys. I don't know if it's like disclosed publicly. Is it on paper? You get a 30-day suspension. I'm not entirely sure. It's out there. I mean, you guys can Google, what did he fail? Google it, fucking look it up, ask Grok or some shit, right? It's out there. So Lucha Blog says numerous means WWE is burying WWE nearly as much as they're burying AEW. How effective is a policy that allows someone to accumulate numerous violations without being suspended? Cruising through cage match quickly. There's no gap where Andrade goes between matches for 90 or even 30-day periods during that WWE run, like one would expect if someone's been violating the policy. Here's the problem with what Lucha Blog's saying. And I don't know this at all. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know if their policy is like, hey, you piss in a cup and this thing that he popped for maybe registers the day after or the day of or a couple days after. But then if they say, hey, piss again in 1 week, and if it's still in your system, 30-day suspension. We don't know. Right? And that could be it, dude. And just, again, try and rack your brain, Brian, around what we could be alluding to here. But according to Lucha Blog, this makes WWE's wellness policy look weak and selectively enforced. So Lucha Blog goes on to say numerous violations of an effective wellness policy should trigger an automatic firing. True. Depending, though, on what they deem a violation. Now, is it a violation right when you pop for what substance? And then is it a violation if they say if in like 2 days we're going to re-piss you, and if you I don't know the ins and outs of it. So again, without knowing or being able to break down the ins and outs of it, I think it's fair that Lucha Blog is assuming this, right? Because we don't know. So just like it's fair for me to be like, well, we don't know the ins and outs, so maybe this aspect of it is the case. We also don't know if they're just like fucking around and what so don't get triggered by his he has more of a love for AEW. I prefaced it with that. Lucha Blog's chill. I truly believe that. He's not a full-blown sicko. He just enjoys what he enjoys, He's a Lucha Blog for a reason. AEW does that. They try and do the Dave's CMLL. It's the best in the world, right? So I just think it's that sort of thing. I digress. Lucha Blog saying that's not ideal. Putting aside the moral and ethical reasons why that policy existed in the first place, it means WWE is collecting information on failed wellness drug tests and then seemingly not acting on them. You really don't want to have that information on hand unless you're going to do something with it, because it will only exist to be leaked at unfavorable times or used in a legal situation. He's right about that, but it might not exist in that WWE and the level they're operating at now. And with the UFC and TKO people involved, they will, I'm telling you, man, they are crossing their T's and dotting their lowercase J's on everything. They're 10 steps ahead of the legality that any blogger or tweeter or anything could come up with. I fucking promise you. Really think about this too. What scandal, other than when the UFC was initially formed and Dana White had to fight to get it popular and everything, and people are like, it's cockfighting and all that. Okay, but aside from the actual act of MMA, even when they did the Fight Island thing, yes, all the news reports, it was controversial and they melted down about it, but it only proves my point further. No one was sued. No one was, UFC wasn't fucking taken out for malpractice or any type of shit like that. Even when Diego Sanchez, he had this guy doing a little MMA lore here, but just to give you a taste, right before the WWE merger and shit, he had this guy cornering him named Joshua Fabia, who took control of him. He's kind of like this cult leader guy who took control of fucking Sanchez's life. And they tried to do some swift shit with the UFC where they got they were like asking for all of his medical records and stuff, and the UFC were 50 steps ahead of them and were like, hey, he's not on this fight. Like, if you're worried for 1 second about head trauma or anything, we seen Dana White cancel the whole fucking, when John Jones got caught for cocaine and he was taking gas station dick pills or whatever, they canceled whole fucking UFC 200 main events and shit like that and switched it around, right? So I'm just saying, like, when it comes to UFC and their people as well, who are more like integrated into WWE and all that shit more than ever, I wouldn't go as far as to say like this is going to slip through the cracks and come back to haunt them in any way. I think they just, however they conduct this wellness policy, I just think we don't know the ins and outs of that entirely. But Lucha Blog finishes up here. He says it was helpful for WWE to be able to leak it here. It may not be helpful the next time it gets out. You should not take notes on a criminal conspiracy, and you should also not have a folder of here's all the times we caught someone on drugs if you're not taking. So again, bro, you are being conspiratorial. Oh, they have a folder on how many times. You don't know, dude. You don't know what they have folders of. So I would chill on all that. So a blogger, Web is Jericho, baby. Web is Jericho, mama. They just also posted this story, and it was so nice. I bookmarked it twice. And yeah, let me know in chat or in the comments below. What the fuck do you guys think? Is WWE covering up his wellness shit, and that's why they just cut ties so he could go be in AEW and so that he didn't leak all that shit and fuck with them? I don't know, but that was a very conspiratorial-ridden WWE news. Okay, we have AEW news. We have sickos to get to. What an amazing fucking show. And yeah, dude, I haven't seen Collision trending once. I've seen Claudio, Banditos trending. I don't see anything else. Other than they're setting up some Dynamite matches and stuff for Title Tuesday, which has zero hype. We're going to talk about that. We got a hearty AEW news segment here as well, folks. So strap in. Thank you, everybody who's here. We have, there is well over 250 watching across X and YouTube. Thank you all so much. And whatever members are watching on the Times channel, it doesn't actually show me, so it's more than that, but shout you guys out. The replay will be up. The replay will be up at youtube.com/@prowrestletimes as well, if you guys are curious. That's where the replay goes up. It's not live to the public while it's airing, but it is airing there if you're a member. Don't ask me why I do it. It's the backup channel. If everything goes to hell, there's our backup. You know what I mean? So we do have some news. Guys, make sure you hit like, subscribe, super chat in, become a member for 99 cents, get access to my Member Monday shows. Those are always fun. And what else, man? I think we're going live Tuesday for the showdown. We got to do it, man. We've been waiting for it. So I'll pop in. I do run-ins here and there as well. And of course, Dave Meltzer, Dumb Moment of the Week. My new show, my new podcast. You can listen to it wherever podcasts are at, and it's live on YouTube Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific time. So that'll be this week, episode 2. It'll be a fun one. So yeah, what do we have here? Let's switch over to AEW news. And let's get into some stuff here. I'm just bookmarking stuff on the fly, too. They announced some matches, so I figured I'd throw them in there for Title Tuesday. Try and give AEW some hype. I tweeted out it's been a good run for AEW. Chat, I was like, listen, it's been a good run, but TNA is going to, like, I'm sorry. If they get on CW or something, I don't see it going so well for them. Just being completely honest. And no, I'm still here, just chugging, getting some liquids in. Pause. Hurling liquids down my throat. Pause. So, yes, guys, this will be fun. What is chat saying? Max is running slow. Must be all those AEW fans. Yeah. The 800,000, Brian. Yeah, I'll be playing catch up on everything. There's goddamn UFC on and all that. So, everybody all together in the chat now. Ichi Nissan. Duh. It is time for AEW news, folks. So AEW Collision, this was last week, drew 248,000, a 0.05 in the key demo. These are the final numbers using the more reliable Big Panel Plus data. Now, Dave Meltzer's, and we're going to cover this on Thursday's show, but Dave can't avoid getting roasted on PWT ever. Okay?
The best guys, Tony Khan.
Dave Meltzer's creating this narrative of like, oh man, this is a disaster. It's the worst thing that could have ever happened. He's saying that because it's harder for him to bullshit. These numbers are more accurate. And I read something, I hope I bookmarked it, but someone tweeted out, I think it was Switchblade, it adds 45 million more homes or some shit. Am I right about that? So it's giving you a larger sample size, and you're seeing AEW's ratings are down. And Dave wants you to believe that with a larger sample size, like all this does is discredits the whole Max theory. Like, oh, all these people went to watch on Max. Nielsen's just one sample size. It's just this one number. So when we increase that sample size and we see Dynamite's doing like and the numbers are more accurate for Switchblade could break it all down way better than I'll get him to write a thread or something. I'll hit him up. But basically, we're seeing that Dynamite isn't as popular. Like, okay, you add Max, there's no proof that even if we get a larger Nielsen sample size that the numbers are any better. Seems so far like they're shittier. Now, you can attribute that to all wrestling's had shitty ratings lately, Brian, or whatever the fuck you want. But I mean, hey, we're just looking at it. We're just playing the ball as she lies, right? So moving forward, the final Nielsen numbers will take longer to be released. So whenever you guys see these first numbers, so far, we're tracking here at PWT, they're trending higher than they actually are for both WWE and AEW, and people are jumping the gun. Wait a little bit, wait an extra day or two, and then those fucking next numbers will come out and they will be muy spot on, okay? They will be indelibly on point. So, thank you, Switchblade, for keeping us up on all that. Multiple WWE sources confirmed that Andrade was cut due to numerous wellness violations over the last year. So I guess he's an AEW superstar, and I put it in here. WWE chose to cut him as opposed to paying him another 90 days to keep him from performing elsewhere. So there was a non-compete clause. I will say to those theories that we're all hearing about Andrade and the wellness policies of WWE and all that, I will say, like, they did just wash their hands of him. So maybe that lends some credibility to those theories. I will just throw that out there, right? I won't just discard a fucking theory just because. So the 6-year anniversary went down, we all know. So Sari and Alex Windsor. So think about this. Alex Windsor, Bruv's gal. I don't know. What do they call gals? Old gals down there in the UK in jolly old Britain land. But, she had her, like, title run. They just put her on TV, shoved her down our throats, gave her a little title challenger run, rather. Like, run at the belt, rather. She loses in ROH. What the fuck? Like, Tony doesn't know what the fuck he's doing at all. So she's just there, and then Sari, everyone was hyped. Sari's there. She's going to debut. Tony scooped her up and just sent her to Ring of Honor. This is the coveted. This is Dave Meltzer. Oh, they want her so bad, Brian. They want Sari. WWE wants her. They lost out on her. They just threw her on ROH. Like, what the fuck? Here's their debuts, though. Mina Shirakawa gets over before and after Mariah May fucking just sent her to ROH.
And 0 points.
the team of the IWGP Women's Champion, Sarah Lee and Alex Poison.
There you guys go. Cool little theme there. So Kevin Kelly and Tate Twins' appeal of AEW lawsuit arbitration ruling gets dismissed. So unfortunately for them, man, they shouldn't have teamed up on this thing. Not that I'm like, yeah, sue AEW to take them down. I just really want, even though I'm going to be honest, like when I start spitting shit about like AEW, how their deals are and shit, like I'm pretty spot on with that. I'm not going to lie. Okay. You guys can trust me on that one. But again, I'm also just guessing for the most part, just puzzle piecing it together, right? That's all I do. But when it comes to this legal shit, I don't fucking, it's above my pay grade. And I'll tell you this, I want the legal shit. All I want is because we're nosy, like the same way I mark out over Hulk Hogan's contract getting released on the internet after WCW went out of business. I want to see how the fucking AEW stuff works in that regard, right? Just because it'll be funny. I know it will. But it'll just that's why it's just morbid curiosity, I guess. Like I don't need to, I'm not worried about like AEW should get sued and put out of business, man. Even the Tate Twins, I know I go to bat for them, but I don't care. I think this just wasted their fucking time, and they shouldn't have teamed up with Kevin Kelly. And I'm surprised Stephen P. New teamed them up, right? Not to shit on him either. Again, he's light years. He knew what he was doing. There was a ball in play that he thought he had the right call on. You know what I mean? But it resulted in an RBI, I guess. I don't know what the analogy I'm trying to make here, but listen, he made the call, I guess, right? They all did together. And maybe if they had have attacked this separately, we would have saw like, okay, what does Kevin Kelly's contract look like, right? Or how do these Tate Twins, what does their deal look like? Because they weren't on salary and shit. I don't think so. I digress. AEW has announced a huge crossover event with DC Comics. So DC and AEW are teaming up for an electrifying crossover that unites two powerhouse universes in a bold new storytelling experience. Now, again, guys, last time DC crossed over with AEW, they drew Swerve with the NXT North American title in the fucking thing. So the folks at DC, the good folks at DC, I don't know. I'd have to look at like what the comic business in general is just not doing the best, but there's been some books that have been doing okay, I suppose. So I just don't know if like teaming up with AEW, it does. Listen, DC teaming up with AEW does more for AEW than AEW does teaming up with DC. I mean, they're just going to throw their like fucking lowest level writers at this shit, you know? But the unprecedented collaboration will bring the Justice League and AEW's top wrestling talent together in a high-octane 2-issue comic book event. AEW has built a universe as rich and dramatic as any comic book, where stories unfold through grit, passion, and unforgettable rivalries. Now that universe leaps from the ring to the page in a 48-page, 2-part comic book saga written by Steve Orlando, illustrated by Travis Mercer, with covers by Lucas Meyer. In this epic tale, AEW's finest, including Mercedes Moné, Will Ospreay, Darby Allin, John Moxley, Swerve Strickland, Adam Page, Tony Storm, Willow Nightingale, and Orange Cassidy, and Kenny Omega, of course. Can't do it without Kenny. Team up with legendary DC superheroes, including Aquaman, Batman, Nightwing, Green Lanterns, Guy Gardner and Jon Stewart, Hawkgirl, Zatanna, Wonder Woman, Harley Quinn. Together, they must recover the big galactic belt and prevent a cosmic catastrophe. Assemble, Super Friends. AEW. Assemble, Bumbleclot Club. Yeah, I mean, that's cool. I should like read and review this thing, is what I'm thinking. I wonder if it's for DC AEW Comic Book 2025. So it is a comic. Okay, digital offerings. Let's see here. Because they're doing, I know like DC and Marvel are doing crossovers right now, which fucking rule, okay? So they're just doing this crossover with AEW kind of out of nowhere. Good for them. They did one before, though, right? And we know that WBD is likely, and this is according to Brandon Thurston and all those guys, it's like they are invested to some degree, like 5% or whatever, I think is what the estimations were. Someone would have to double check or go back on the show as I forget, but good for them. So we have Big Boom AJ. We have some Tony Khan cringe. We're going to circle back to those videos, right? Hangman Adam Page voices his displeasure over ICE commercials airing during AEW Dynamite. Now, here's the thing, right?
You what?
Imagine you own a wrestling company and then Hangman Adam Page blue skies out, fuck ICE airing commercials during Dynamite. Let him know. Help HBO Max, da-da-da. Boycott fucking Max, HBO Max. Dude, you're their world champion. You don't even know if you're going to be, you're lucky to even be on their fucking television. And this is government funded advertising. And you're saying, hey, right, like politics aside, dude, that is not a good look for the goddamn company. But hey, some people are like, well, they're the virtue signal company and let them fucking do that. I just don't think it's going to get you that far. I don't think that's the right thing to do right now. Posting your lowest numbers is telling people to boycott the fucking show you're lucky to be on. That gives you a platform to go, man, fuck ICE and fuck WWE and fuck Terry Funk or he didn't say that, but I don't take advice from old school wrestlers and I fuck all this shit, right? It's because you're on TBS TNT. Like you're lucky you're even there. And let's say they do own 5% or whatever. Hangman's like, go and boycott that. I don't give a fuck. I'll just go work at this other. Where are you going to wrestle? I'll just go back to my ranch. Yeah, it's easy for you, fucking privileged Page. Fucking grew up rich with a farm. Parents who own a farm or whatever just gave you a fucking ranch. Jesus Christ. It's ridiculous, man. Shut the fuck up. You know, these guys made too much money. They make too much fucking money for the numbers they've drawn and the shit they've done. I'm sorry. What do you fall back on? I'll just go wrestle at Rev Pro or some shit. Tony will always give me a job. He'll hire me for the fucking Jaguars or something. I know that's what they're thinking. They just don't care because they're not really fighting for anything. So it's kind of cringe. Politics aside, again, I'm not trying to make no political statement. Just I don't know, dude. If I don't know. It's just like you don't turn down ads for like, why aren't you saying like, dude, fuck Burger King, boycott them. They make people fat and they get heart attacks and die. Or they give them diabetes to kids and shit. Like, why aren't they give people sugars, give people cancers and shit? Why aren't you like virtue signaling for that? Again, because it's not the popular thing. You're just doing this like cringy fucking and it's just like you should be so lucky that you even have their fucking world title and you're on TBS every week. So moving along here, Gail Kim, and she, agrees with my sentiments here because I said the same thing as Gail's saying here on Huge Pop. Shout out Huge Pop. Gail says Kenny Omega's tweets towards her were very derogatory. And she says even what he said, though, was very derogatory. Again, he was probably reading things online and believing the AEW fans who twisted all the messaging, in my opinion. I don't know. Maybe he did read my original answer. But to say I do the splits, I didn't even know what that meant at first. I'm like, what do you mean? I do the splits for TKO? I'm like, what was he talking about? You fucking sicko. Fucking Mark. It just doesn't help with cringe responses that are like, dude, yeah, that's just sicko shit. God damn it. You know, I try and defend Kenny so much, then he just says dumbass shit like this. Because I said the same thing, like do the splits on it as well. It's Gail, it's not just do the splits, it's do the splits on it for TKO. On what, Kenny? You sick weirdy? Jesus. Like you're talking to a woman here, like a veteran, like a woman she didn't make fun of Rio. She said the sexualization of what the camera guy was seemingly doing, and which I pointed out they do to all the wrestlers, by the way. Women wrestlers, but just her attire comes across as, if you were to just generally describe what does Riho dress as, I already did this bit, but I was, I don't know, kind of like Sailor Moon, I guess, but like kind of like a Japanese schoolgirl. I guess that would just be the easy way to describe what she's dressed as. It's just a generality. It's not like to diminish, you know, it's like, with Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, what do people say? Oh, they're wearing like full-on lingerie, dominatrix type stuff. Is that offensive? I mean, I get maybe, right? It's just a general way of what's Sol Ruka? She's like a surfer chick, bro. Is that offensive? I don't know. It's just, we're just speaking in generalities here. And I don't use the schoolgirl thing, but like if people use that to describe it, you can't get triggered by that, man. It's just what it seems like. Okay. That can't offend you. It's insane to me that people get offended by shit like this. And Gail didn't even diminish her. For Kenny Omega to go doing the splits on it for TKO, like what the fuck what did Riho have to do with TKO? Like it's always about WWE in their minds, and then it's always some like weird sicko fucking MJF is telling people to delete themselves. I guess that guy was being pretty fucked up, but you know, and then Kenny Omega's like doing the splits on it to a girl. It's like, I don't know, dude, that just seems in poor taste. But Gail's like, I don't even understand it. Yeah, Kenny, she's a fucking boomer. How old is Kenny though? He's probably the same age as she is. Like Gail's just old school. She got brought up and brought in by old school people, man. You can't fucking blame her for having a difference of opinion. And it's crazy that she even, you know, made the headlines for a week straight for having meltdowns against, or not. She wasn't having meltdowns. People were having meltdowns towards her, but she entirely just fucking responded to everyone. It was crazy. She didn't need to do all that, but I'm not even hating on her for it because it's not like she does it all the time. She's just like, I got time. I ain't busy this weekend. You know, what's up? Let me just fucking let them all know. I don't hate on that either. But meanwhile, Kenny Omega's doing this. Oh, you're doing the splits for it. Yeah, buddy, you're doing the fucking Macarena on it for Tony Montana. Look at this shit. And they wonder why they're doing 400,000 on their 6-year anniversary show. And then they're telling people, oh, you guys are doing splits on it, and Harvey Weinstein and all this shit. It's just, you guys are real sickos, man. And I like Kenny, but he fucked around too much. This guy said doing the splits on it. He's put fingers up a dude's ass in New Japan. Right? So Gail Kim further addressed her comments regarding Riho. Says people who used to work in AEW reached out to her to tell her they agreed. Yeah, they'll do that. They'll fucking do that. Gail says, I was not in any way saying anything bad about her. I was talking about my discomfort in a segment that I had watched probably when AEW started, because I don't watch AEW currently. I saw that one segment and I remember just feeling uncomfortable. Yes, she appeared to look very young and then dressed in that particular match like a little girl in my mind. And then when the cameraman, I think she was going up to the top rope, and I remember the cameraman shooting up her skirt, which, you know, happened a lot in my early wrestling days. It still happens, Gail. They just cut away quicker. But they still do it all the same. Where I had to go tell the cameraman or the production truck, hey, stop shooting up my ass. So she's speaking from experience. Oh, but, you know, they fucking made fun of her before. She's like, okay, I didn't like, you know, what is the sicko's response to this perfectly reasonable and normal assessment on what she saw and her input based on experience and shit? It's crazy. And so she says, when I said she wasn't believable in that match, it was just because I felt uncomfortable from the start. You get my drift in terms of in this age of the child, you know? Jeffrey Epstein era. Whoa, Gail. Okay, now. Oh, shit.
Wrestling's not fake!
In the Epstein era, I just felt really uncomfortable. And then so that's what I meant by it. And I actually had AEW, former people that worked there, say to me, I agree with you. I would be backstage and felt the same way. I can't judge what type. They're just haters, Brian. They're just detractors. They just wanted to get out of there and use Tony Khan for his money. That's totally not what I'm doing. Former people that work there say to me, I agreed with you. Boom. I can't judge what type of wrestler I think she is today. And I've admittedly said that I haven't watched their product in a really long time. So I'm happy to just watch it again and give my opinion on that. So I would just hope the people have open minds. Here's the thing. And this is what happened to Bischoff. This is what happens to guys like Nicolo Piccolo. This is what happens. Maybe even Cornette in some ways. Maybe even myself. Who knows? Maybe even JD. Goo. People give their opinion. They give it on WWE. It's a debate. Okay. It is what it is. It gets as toxic as you allow it or as you are. The sickos come into play. You fucking voice an opinion on AEW. Here's the thing. Gail just voiced an opinion. Guess what? You guys come after her. You move the goalpost. You make it about all this other dumb shit. What happened is you awoken a beast in her. Okay, and it's slowly changing with the feeling to me, right? Fucking sickos, dude. Ooh, Chinappa, come on, get down with the sickness. You fucking woke a demon up in her. She wasn't even watching AEW. Now she's going to watch it and tell you what she thinks. That's what I think of, yeah. She's going to tell you what she thinks now. Every week she's going to shit on it and bury it. And her voice, the more you guys try and discredit Gail Kim, the more people go, nope, here's her accolades, here's her resume, here's her fucking stat sheet. And the more you guys look like assholes, and the more it turns people off, and the more it pushes people away, and the more it just lends credence to what CM Punk said about it's like, I don't know what they're doing. People don't want to learn and shit. And you have William Regal being like, yeah, people don't want to learn there. And then Dax is like, I was always there learning. And William Regal's like, yeah, you're not the guy I'm fucking talking about, bro. You're 38. You're fucking... Yeah, we know, dude. You can fucking wrestle. You're past NXT, dog. That aside, it's just the more you guys try to pretend like Gail Kim ain't shit and say things like name a Gail Kim match and shit, it just makes your side look stupider and stupider in this argument. Or more stupid, whatever. Someone's going to correct me on that. But yeah, I'm Team Gail here. You guys want to ask Team NXT, Team TNA? I'm Team Gail against Team Sickos here for certainly. And you've just woken up a demon now. She's going to review the shit. She's going to put over some shit. And you guys are going to try and reject it. And you won't talk about that. And you're just going to melt down about all the bad shit she's now going to say. And not because you guys were mean to her, because she's just going to objectively say what it is. And then you can't refute that, but you're going to spurg out about it anyways. Moving along. Wrestle Dream. The world title match is set. It's Samoa Joe, who's 1/3 of the Trios champions, and he's taking on Hangman Page. Again, this is going to be a notch on Page's belt here. He's just going to fucking beat Joe, and they're going to pop a bit of a number with it or whatever because Joe's on the fight. Like, they need to bolster up their pay-per-view a bit. I've told you guys this. And we're going to look at what this, we could look at it right now. Let's look at what this show's selling compared to TNA. We did TNA news earlier, and I wrote this. I remember saying this would happen and having mentally deranged sickos melt down and tell me it wouldn't. So Wrestle Dream has 3,000, and this is posted, I think, the same day, I believe it was. So the current distributed 3,986, so 4,000 tickets. They're set for 4,700. This is Wrestle Dream in St. Louis, October 18th. The same week, man, Bound for Glory. October 12th in Lowell, Massachusetts. Shout out Sassy Gal, I think is going. They're set up for 5,200, 5,300, and they've already sold 4,500 tickets, man. TNA, come on down. Now, I'll hold the L where it's appropriate. Like, I talk shit, and I was like, TNA PLEs are going to be doing like 7,000, 8,000. When they start drawing 8,000 by the end of the year, well, they didn't do that. I was talking a lot of shit. I thought by Bound for Glory, they'd do like an 8,000. I think, didn't they do 7,000 for Slammiversary, though? It was crazy. So Either way, though, they're still they're outdrawing the PLEs. Period. Point blank. They're starting to do that. Once the TV deal happens, holy shit, heads are going to spin. I put out another tweet saying, like, it's been fun and everything for AEW, but, like, I just think it's a wash now. Like, it's over, you know? 1, 2, 3, dude, ring the fucking bell. It's over. And yeah, I mean, they've sold, likely, if we were to update the ticket sale, TNA's probably for BFG sold more tickets than AEW's even set up for Wrestle Dream. So that's why Joe versus Hangman is going down as well, and that's why they want to do Andrade Omega, and Dave's freaking out about that because he hates Andrade. And I'll give Dave credit. He hated on Andrade before he left AEW. He's hating on Andrade again upon his return. But he wants to see Fletcher Omega because he wants to give that 8 stars. We'll talk about that in coming. I'm sure the next pay-per-view will be Fletcher Omega. But it's Andrade Omega and it's Joe Hangman because Tony's hoping to, like, sell some more tickets and pop a number. I mean, some redacts will be like, oh, last minute, when AEW's tickets magically spike up last minute like they do every fucking time because Tony Khan will put the tickets on sale for $6 walking in the fucking door and he buys 2,000 of them himself for 1,000, which whatever. I don't get mad when WWE fluffs the numbers a bit. I've always kept that same energy. Whatever. If Tony's going to do that, they're carny bookers. We can see based on the interest, the attendances overall and shit. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, Bound for Glory is going to end up announcing a higher attendance. Or if it's off by like 1,000, I'm telling you right now, Tony just papered his shit up a little bit because he can afford to do that. And he's been accused. And we've seen it before too. And we've heard the rumors. We've brought the stories to this show. We've seen tickets that say comped on them. Maybe people are taking the time to AI that and shit. I don't fucking know. You know, you don't know anymore in 2025, do you there, Lex? What do you know these days, Lex?
I don't know.
Me neither, bud. But yeah, so TNA, they're outdrawing. They're outdrawing. And the reason Joe's thrown on there, even though he's a trios champ, is because they just need to bolster up a bit of ticket sales and some interest, and Joe does that. And that's why I've said he needs to fucking be their world champion and all this shit. But Tony, here's the thing. Look at the videos of how Joe and Tony Khan interact. And there's like a brief moment of them, of Joe giving Tony a fist bump when he goes in for a hug. It's like a split-second moment on the 10 minutes of Tony Khan video, which I implore you all to check out on my YouTube channel and on Patreon. There's a longer version because, you know, YouTube, there's like a version where I EFAP it as well and stuff with, I think, Marv the Movie Monster. But anyways, back to this. Joe doesn't hug fucking Tony and all that. He's not giving him hugs. He's not making out with him like some of these other guys do. He just keeps it super professional. And like Joe even said on CVV's interview, he's like, yeah, we'll do it. They were talking about WWE and he's like, yeah, and in the future, we'll have more matches. Like Joe will go back to WWE one day. He will work there again. I am so fucking certain of that. But his deal might, I don't know. I think 2027 is going to be another wild year. I've always predicted that. And I'm not, I have no insight on that. I'm just saying, like, maybe that's a year I think he's got to be still in AEW for a while, would be my prediction. But at the same time, who knows? Let Joe, if Joe comes back and they stick him on commentary again, he was great on commentary. Do I want to see him have a run where he takes out Brock Lesnar and shit? Yes. Is Joe maybe a little bit past? I don't know. He could come back in the next 2 years and maybe win the world title, have a short run or so. That could be really fucking cool. And I just think the way Joe spoke on CVV and shit is the reason why. It's not that he buried AEW. He's a consummate profesh, right? It's just that he's like, yeah, I mean, I'll run it back with people in WWE in the future too. Like, it's just him basically saying, he said it right there on CVV. Like, yeah, I'll fucking go back to WWE when this deal's up. If the money's right and they let me do my acting shit. Well, what has WWE been letting people do more of? Fucking acting shit, right? So I just think Joe, they'd have no problem bringing him fucking back. And he's just like a mind you want backstage and shit too. Like, he's just one of the fucking, in my top 5 probably all time for me is Joey Headknocker. Now, am I pumped for him and Hangman? I am. I'm not going to lie, because Joe won't do a... Look at the match Joe had with Punk. Like, he's not going to go out there and do 45 minutes and let fucking Hangman tombstone him off the fucking... it's not going to be all that. It's going to be a banger. It's going to be two fucking guys going out there, slugging it out, and Joe is going to put on a primarily psychology-based match with Hangman that fucking makes Hangman look really good and really strong coming off the back of it. And if Joe slips away with the title, I'll start glazing AEW again tomorrow. I'll start shilling AEW like fucking Meltzer, okay? I'll be watching that shit. I'll be reviewing it on Cage Match and shit.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
So we have some more news here. Trent Beretta, I'm going to check in with chat in a moment. Trent Beretta has been dealing with an arm injury in recent months. And the hope is he will be back in the ring within the next few months. And I'm sitting here like, dude, didn't he retire? Like, didn't he like do some retirement angle and then fucking, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Either way, I hope Trent Beretta's okay. Eddie Kingston announced for an indie show next month. So again, Andrade comes back. Kingston's doing indie shows, and they're not going to be on the same show. They're going to keep them separated. That's what Tony does. Hopefully a situation doesn't arise where he fears for his fucking life again.
That's great.
But there you go. At PWJ whatever. Shout it out. And there's my free plug for that indie show there. And hopefully Eddie puts on a good match. So AEW scored its lowest audience in 18 to 49 rating in show history on Wednesday night with the new Nielsen Big Data Plus panel rating system. It was the second episode of Dynamite to be tracked using the new methodology. And then fucking Switchblade was melting down. He's like, why isn't Raj acknowledging the new fucking system and shit? I'm like, because Switchblade, you're fucking 4 steps ahead of everybody on this shit. Don't worry. He's fucking, he'll catch on. And then he DM me. He's like, man, I give Raj credit. He's acknowledged it. Dave won't acknowledge it. I'm like, I know, dude. Dave's such a fucking fraud. Now he has to acknowledge this shit. And he's like, oh, just a terrible week. It's so funny. It's so funny. He's had a horribly bad last couple of years, but to make it about Raj here, who's been just posting objective shit. Everybody goes, oh, of course you try to make Raj posts the exact verbatim word for word same fucking thing about Raw and Dynamite every single week, and people go under the WWE shit and try and say he's shilling, and then they go under the AEW shit and say, oh, he's trying to make AEW look bad. No, that's what Dave does. Okay, it's the same thing. Every fucking show I read a Raj Giri post, it's the same wording, the same way he tracks it, the way he lays it out. It's just him stating this information that he's accumulated the exact same way every fucking week. Meanwhile, Dave Meltzer has like there was a Quidditch game on. There was a poodle shaving contest over on Channel 6, right? He's got a different explanation. The fucking NXT ratings are like, this is what they are. And then AEW, there's like a paragraph. There's like 4 sentences about how he came to the conclusion. And then with Raw, he's like, I'm writing a very special article. Tune in, message board reader. Raj just presents the data. Now people see that there's more text here. Yeah, because now there's 2 sets of numbers. Now it's the big data plus panel, whatever Nielsen's doing. You have to elaborate a little bit more. So yes, there's more information here. There's more context, and there likely will be in the future, but it will remain the same structure here. I don't get why people go so hard on Raj. He got drunk one time and drunkenly tweeted shit out. Gives a fuck. So Dynamite averaged 465K viewers, down 16%. Isn't that the lowest of all time? 0.09 in the key demo. A 0.09 in the key demo. And remember, Dave does all this shit too. Dave Meltzer, Dumb Moment of the Week, Thursdays on YouTube, live, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Dave Meltzer, though, he keeps doing this thing where he's like, where he's like, oh, it's the fucking ratings. Then it's the key demo matters. And then now he's talking about, oh, you're foolish if you think overall ratings matter. Otherwise, WWE and AEW both wouldn't, blah, 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 blah. Which it doesn't matter which one of those things is fucking true. What matters is that Dave just whips out whatever one works at the fucking time for him and whatever narrative he's trying to paint. So Raj says, as always, these numbers do not include the HBO Max simulcast. Dynamite was number 5 for the night on cable behind MLB Wildcard Series, Gutfeld, Jesse Waters, Primetime, Hannity, and The Challenge. Now, again, we give Meltzer shit because he compares news to AEW. And he goes, well, all the other shows weren't blah, 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 which is foolish to do. Just to clarify, Raj isn't comparing them in that way. He's just stating what else was on television and what they were behind in that time. Because people try and do that too. Well, Raj brings up the news and shit. No, stupid. Context is king. Like, Dave brings it up and he compares like the type of ratings AEW does with the type of ratings fucking the news does. Fox News, even though it's all these different, it's Jesse Waters, Gutfeld, Hannity, and The Challenge. It's like 4 fucking shows. Raj is just telling you this is what else was on. So year over year, Dynamite was down 32%, while the 18 to 49 was down 55. Well, young people are just on that.
Stupid idiot.
Holy dude, that's brutal. That's brutal, man. It's time. People want a new wrestling company to swoop in. It might be TNA, even though they're like an old company. It might be their chance to swoop in. Sari made her ROH debut. We watched that. So Switchblade had this to say, responding to Awful, who posted the ratings here. He says, the quarter hours? Switchblade says, why do they continue to do the overrun? 99.9% of the time, the overrun they do drags the final number down, as it's 99.9% always lower than the 2-hour average. You are making your numbers look worse. Fucking A, buddy. We all know that, but it just doesn't matter. Like, you could do anything. 400,000 just dropping. I mean, it just plummets. The overall gets hurt. Tony Khan doesn't study and learn. Dave Meltzer doesn't study and learn. They haven't learned their goddamn lesson. And they just keep doing this over and over. And it's never going to work for them. And if you count the lead in, I mean, it's always a little bit inflated. I'm not going to break down each quarter hour, but Adam Page backstage promo, Tony Storm versus Ty Mello. And then Guevara, Kingston. Oh, so was Guevara around with Kingston? So maybe they worked their shit out. I wonder how Andrade, or was it just like a pre-tape thing? It could have been pre-tape. Ad break, Joe was back. And then it just, then you got Joe back there. People turning off the show. Poor Joe. And then, yeah, you end the show with like Statlander and Darby Allin and Shafir and Yuta. And then Death Riders and shit, which have just killed their company. And even if you didn't add in the overrun, though, the average is fucking terrible. Like, their ratings are just in the shits, man. And I don't care what anyone's saying. There's not a babillion people watching on Max. Former AEW Women's World Champion Shida reveals she re-signed with the company. God damn it. God damn it. I really, really wish that she stayed, or pardon me, didn't stay in AEW and moved on over to WWE. Although, where would they fit her right now? I totally, like, she's above NXT, but where do you put her? You know, you got Julia with the US title. I don't know. And Tony's probably paying her an arm and a leg, but Shida should be on Dynamite like every week and shit. She was really fucking good, man. And her title run was pretty good. And I just think she started doing some dumb shit too, I think, to appease Tony Khan a little bit. Because all the women like get hardcore in this company too. Like, it's not cool that Willow gets hardcore when everyone gets fucking hardcore now. It's just stupid. And Shida was kind of like getting hardcore there a bit for a little while too, and it was like, what are you doing? And then we just don't see her. And then some of the ladies we want to see and these Joshis we want to see, they're fucking like Mina Shirakawa and shit. They're just stuck in ROH. And Sari, this big signing, all the sickos were like, WWE lost out. Sari's a game changer. WWE covets Sari and shit. She just debuts in ROH. with Alex Windsor, who they forced down her throats for 3 weeks or 2 months, and then she gets a title shot, then she loses, now she's just an ROH. The fuck is going on, man? Where has Sheeta even been? Where's she been? Anyways, Andrade competed in his first post-WWE match tonight at the Crash Lucha Libre, winning the heavyweight title, and a bunch of fucking marks and sickos are like, Andrade already winning a world title after he left the fucking...
You fucking mark!
Okay, he was gonna be tag champ. Not only that, it's a fucking belt. 99% of people don't know what Crash fucking Lucha is or what this belt is. Good for him, though. I'm not an Andrade hater by any means. In fact, Ray and Javon were fun. Ray Phoenix and Javon were fun together on SmackDown, so maybe just do more of that, you know? But shout out Andrade. I'm not trying to hate, but like, Jesus Christ, guys, let's not put everything over. Like, not everything. And I keep the same guy. I'm like, hey, we don't need to put over WWE getting $200 bagillion to go to Saudi for WrestleMania. We don't need to put over Andrade winning a fucking random Mexican indie belt or whatever. Or maybe it's Puerto Rican. Just announced Winnipeg, bud. Winnipeg Pro Wrestling. Rumble in the Burt on October 19th. Mercedes Moné will challenge Jody Threat for the WPW Women's Championship. And everyone's already going fucking 10 belts Moné.
Yeah.
I'm going to Winnipeg to win my 10th wrestling title.
Sometimes in life, you got to be a hoe.
Rumble in the Burt. Oh, my God. WPW, this poor woman right here, Jody Threat, TNA superstar. Former, I don't know, is she a TNA superstar? I don't know. Some deals are coming up. Cedric Alexander's is coming up. I just saw Fightful reported that as well. So, yeah, man, she's going to win this fucking Canadian title, bud, off of Jody Threat, and she'll have 10 titles. And again, they just went with, like, listen, Stat is going to end up dropping that fucking belt to Moné or something like that, okay? Like, they just got it off Tony so that Moné doesn't have to beat Tony, right? And that is smart. I actually give Tony Khan credit for that. But either way, it's just, when is enough? And I saw, like, Observer and Figure 4 Online talking about, like, oh, we're comparing Moné to Jushin Liger and shit. And it's like, what? How do you even make that comparison? And I'll tell you how. You write books like this. This book is all elite, releases 1 month from today on November 4th. And you still have a chance to win an all elite experience for 2. Here's how. Pre-order a copy of the book. Submit your proof of purchase or screenshot, blah, blah, blah. So you can win a VIP package for 2 by buying this book. This book is all elite. Now, Jericho won't leave the company until after this book comes out, which it comes out right away. But I really think they're going to undermine Cody Rhodes. They're not going to bury him, but they're not going to get up-to-date interviews from him or Punk, obviously. So it's not an objective book. It's a book being made by AEW for AEW. I bet they'll put Rhodes over early in the book, maybe even Punk a little bit. I bet that they will even use quotes from Rhodes and Punk, who worked at the company at the time, that were favorable. Maybe even use them against them in a way. You know, but like against WWE or them personally right now. I bet they will take quotes from Punk, like putting AEW over at the time when they get to that portion of like their story and history and all that. But if you don't think, and I caught heat for this from sickos, this is like a while back. If you don't fucking think this book is going to be like a fluff piece, just blowing Tony Khan and AEW and controlling their own history, like WWE's done, and you guys aren't going to call that shit out, I mean, you're a stupid idiot, right?
Idiot.
It's obviously going to be that. And like, I don't care. It's pro wrestling. It's carny. It's whatever the fuck. WWE did this. We call it out. We made fun of it for years. Sorry, I didn't have a podcast in 2009 so I could call out some of their fucking DVDs. But I got one now, and I'm calling this out. And just like their All Access show, they tried to rewrite history and that shit. And that's what they fucking have already done. AEW's already tried to do that. So again, it's just little Tony McContana. And this book is like, say hello to my little friend and read this fake fucking history book here. And that's totally fine, but that's what it is. And it's just funny that they're doing the thing that sickos would jump all over WWE and have in the past for doing. Or like when WWE kayfabes their history and then people get mad about that. And it's like, yeah, it's kayfabe. Like when Dave got all worked up because in kayfabe, Michael Cole's like, Rey Mysterio's the biggest luchador of all time. And Dave's like, what about El Santo, Brian? It's like, yeah, dude, it's a fucking TV show. They're getting themselves over. So if he doesn't keep the same energy with this fake book, then I'm surprised it doesn't come with a 4-pack of crayons. Then yeah, I don't know what to tell you. So Adam Copeland is listed on AEW's roster page as Adam Copeland once more rather than Cope. So this happened again. Why? Well, because he's in when you Google Adam Copeland, when you type in AEW Cope, my videos come up. Okay. And then when you type in a little delayed there, when you type in Adam Copeland, oh, he's in Jason Statham's The Killer Bee Part 2 or whatever. He's in Disney Plus's Percy Jackson, whatever the fuck. So when they moved it to Cope in the first place, I swear that was them trying to hijack the algorithm. And that might be a little conspiratorial, but why would you do that? So Title Tuesday, it's announced Pac versus Orange Cassidy up against NXT TNA Showdown. Like, come on, you couldn't fucking give us anything worse than that. And so New Japan has run less United States shows in 2025 due to declining attendance and some roster members not wanting to make the trip for the shows. So I looked this up, man. New Japan on January 4th at the start of this year, just New Japan Wrestle Kingdom, drew like 25,000 people. AEW the next night, AEW versus New Japan, the same New Japan wrestlers plus AEW wrestlers, they drew 16,000 the second night. Some fucking marks were like, the second night's never in New Japan's history outdrawn the first night. I'm not going to take a sicko's word for that, but you just helped prove my point. AEW, the reason they put AEW on the second night is to bolster the fucking second night. Otherwise, they do it on the first night. Idiot. But instead, the first night, they let their guys have, and then the second night, AEW guys are supposed to come in and help garner interest, help sell more tickets, and help New Japan America, which it has not done. It hasn't done either of those things. So now, if New Japan in America with AEW was doing real well, and they were doing more shows, but then that you showed me that pay-per-view statistic, I would go, okay, maybe you're right, fuck me. But no, I maintain, well, look, the partnership I thought was supposed to help, what's the word? Release some of that fucking burden on New Japan to fill up, that second night, and some of these other events, and some of when they go on excursion and shit like that, and like to boost up interest in the G1 and all this shit. I thought that was the whole point of partnering with someone. Just like NXT and TNA, you're excited to see everything they're doing because NXT's helping to boost TNA, and even vice versa. It's cool seeing TNA guys fucking run up on NXT and stuff. It's sweet, man. I love it. I'm a filthy mark, dude. I love shit like that. Phil S. Marks. But I maintain that, yeah, dude, they are being outdrawn by New Japan when they're supposed to be there to help boost. They couldn't even hit 20K. Why'd they get outdrawn the next night by almost 10K? Is that the case every year? I don't fucking know. And they are doing less American shows. That's their American partners, dude. Why is that fucking happening? That's who they cross over with. They did a crossover event. There's no fucking interest. And you're just like, well, it always does less. Well, yeah, because it's not always AEW Forbidden Door the next day right after. So I don't know, man. If I'll see AEW helping New Japan. I'll believe it when I see it, I guess is what I'm getting at here. Let's check in with chat. I know it's been a minute. Jesus Christ, I'm losing my mind. We have some Tony Khan Crange, and we have like some AJ Big Boom, Rizzler, Twizzler, whatever their names are, right? Ray J's World for 5 says the advantage NXT has to AEW is they are on free TV. Yeah, I mean, I think also like having WWE's promotional machine behind you. I acknowledge. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I appreciate that. I think maybe having WWE's like they're just better at promoting and marketing, and not just in the ways that like Dave Meltzer uses as a fucking excuse, in the ways that matter, like social media presence, how they put their content out there, how accessible they are. All of those things, I think, factor into it. Ray J's World for 5 again says DC crossover with AEW is soon geeky, and that's bad. WWE with Fanatics proves pro wrestling is for geeky jocks. Geeky jocks, is that a thing? In 2025 it is, dude.
Come on now, Eric.
The DC crossover with AEW, it's just like I was looking up, is it for free comic book? Is it a free comic book day or something like that? I don't know. Like, are they just giving these out? What is this for? I'll look into that more off air, but I mean, this isn't the first time they've done it. It's just like, what are the sales going to be like? You know, that's all I'm thinking. Like, does it help AEW any? Maybe it helps them. Yes. Maybe it promotes them and some of their wrestlers, but does it help DC any? No, I don't think so. But WBD has a stake. So it's like free promo for them in a way, right? It's like investing. It's just like, we're running an AEW ad in this fucking comic book, and we'll put these rinky dink like writers on it and shit. People who we don't trust to do like our major storylines or titles or anything like that, you know? But yeah, Fanatics is cool. It would be sweet. Do a Marvel fucking WWE crossover. Don't be pussies, Fed. WWF, do it. Justin Booth became a new member. Shout out Justin Booth. Guys, make sure you super chat in, get your questions in, make sure you become a member. I do shows. If you become a member, by the way, or a patron, patreon.com/ProWrestleTimes with, I've been uploading a bunch on Patreon. So make sure you guys are checking that out too. Exclusive shit. You get access to Member Monday bonus shows. So get like Justin Booth and become a member here. Sorry, it's like StreamYard's glitching out while I'm
Sometimes
promoting
in life you gotta be a hoe.
Justin Booth there. Marvel ain't touching WWE anytime soon. Yeah, I mean, for sure. Run those likes up. There is over 260 watching across YouTube and X. Guys, don't be stingy with the likes. It helps the algorithm. That's the free way to support if you don't want to super chat. I love you guys all the same, no less. Geeky, nerdy jocks. Yeah, exactly. It's like an interesting term. Mimit, Phil Marks in 2025. Yeah, I've been having a few libations, as Cody Rhodes would say. New Japan leadership loves AEW. Where's Marie Shadows when we need her? Yeah, I should get her back on the goddamn show to talk about that. That's what I should do. I should put together like an NJPW panel, actually, and get Sonal back on as well. I digress. Let's get back into this. We have some Tony Khan Crange. Everybody hydrate. It's a hydrate break. AKA chug down some fucking whatever you're drinking. It is Saturday. And it is late night, PWT. And don't forget Dave Meltzer, Dumb Moment of the Week, Thursday, live on YouTube and wherever you listen to podcasts immediately after. Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Okay, so Tony Khan, let's do Rizzler and Big Boom first. So again, we're gonna get kind of Don Stevens for this, so I'm gonna kind of like scroll it up a bit. We're just gonna play it. Let's listen to what this is an exclusive. This is what AJ Bifumo said. He wants to get his hands on Rocky Romero and Trenty Locks, aka Trent Beretta, who's undergoing surgery. So is he gonna wrestle? I think this Big Boom AJ kid is going to wrestle in a match if he hasn't already. I know Callis choked him out, but there's like 100 guys in the Callis family, and I think he's going to be in one of these fucking matches. I think he was in one already, wasn't he? I don't know. I'm not against these Big Boom guys like being on the AEW show, though. It's just a matter of like, you can't do this. And then I've said this a billion times. I'm getting sick of saying it, but I'll say it one last time right here. You can't have these guys on the show and then have Moxley getting carved up and impaled and shit. It's just like, who are you marketing the show to then at that point, right? And it doesn't have to be all kids. It doesn't have to be all, but come on. Anyways, let's take a listen to what they have to say about Roppongi Vice.
Big Justice, what an honor this is to be here at AEW Dynamite 6, the 6-year anniversary of AEW Dynamite.
What a huge honor it is. The only thing you're forgetting is that you don't even work here. What are you talking about?
Yeah. What do you two gluttons know about anniversaries?
Well, I'll tell you what, Rocky, I'll tell you what we do know about anniversaries. We do know that Full Gear will be...
And then he looks at the fucking camera, bro. Oh, he's such an influencer.
Our 1-year anniversary here at AEW. And speaking of Full Gear, why don't you bring the...
He's good, though, dude. He knows how to sell the game. Like, he looks at the camera says the date and time, and then he looks back at them to talk shit. Like, as far as sales go, I mean, he's got it down.
Callis family. Bring Don Callis, bring a new Andrade, but most of all, the two of you come to Full Gear.
So Andrade left, and now he's going to do a thing with Big Boom AJ and the Costco guys as part of Callis's family on the fucking pre-show of Wrestle Dream or whatever. Or I don't know, is this going down on Collision or some shit? I don't know, but that's what's happening here with Andrade since leaving WWE.
Let's finish what we started at All In.
And you know what, Rocky? I see you wearing some Air Maxes.
Yes, so what?
You need a boost in your height?
Why are you...
Are you trying to get pie-faced again?
You remember what I did to you?
No.
And speaking of what he did to you, what's with this cast here, Trent?
That has nothing to do with what he did. I got hurt doing something else. We don't have to talk about it.
A horrific pickleball accident.
I'll tell you what, guys. None of that matters. Why don't the two of you come to Full Gear and take on me and Big Justice?
Let's do this.
Are you nuts? A man...
Full Gear? When the fuck is Full Gear? When's Full Gear?
Baby and a child?
It's illegal to fight a child.
It's illegal.
You trying to trick us?
Trying to trick us, get us into some trouble, aren't you? You know what? I got a better idea. How about Big Boom AJ and a partner of your choice against RPG Vice?
That's a good idea. Good luck finding somebody to team with you, though. You got no friends. Internet doesn't count as friends. I got hurt doing something else.
No.
God, why is everyone like, haha, we're nerdy? Like, nah, man, we got hurt. I got hurt. Like, everybody's like a nerdy fucking heel. Haha, man. Oh, God.
Friends, losers.
These two guys are the most money AEW has. I'm not even lying. They should fucking... I give them 3 booms. Boom, boom. These guys are okay, man. I like these fellas right here. So here's Big Boom AJ. He has a message for Andrade Alidala. And it's so funny too, because Big Boom AJ, we know how much he loves WWE. We know how much he wishes he was in WWE. And then what does Big Boom AJ do? Parlays his AEW, I don't know, partnership. I don't know if they just said, you don't even work here. So it's just like a per appearance thing, whatever. But hey, listen, this partnership works in a way where Tony Khan can be like, can you please remove the WWE title? Can you pull down that video, please? When he's holding the title, ripping the cards or whatever he was doing, opening toys and shit. But what does Big Boom do? He waits till a WWE superstar leaves WWE, shows up in AEW, and then he goes, hey, I want a match against you. Boom. Pretty funny. Let's see what a Big Boom AJ has to say about Andrade Cien Almas.
Andrade wants to know who I am. I realize you haven't been here for a little while, Andrade, so let me introduce myself. I'm Big Boom AJ, the man that will be taking down your Callis family members, Rocky Romero and Trent Barretta at Full Gear. Now, I see you already started some trouble with my man Kenny Omega, so I don't know why you're looking for any other trouble, but understand one thing. I'm the man around here that brings the boom. Andrade wants to know who I am.
We bring the boom to your crew. Okay. So there was Big Boom AJ. We have some Tony Khan cringe here, but there was a column written. And this wasn't written by Dave Meltzer, by the way. The guy who wrote this was the dude from The Observer that I owned. You guys remember when that Observer writer was waiting? He put a tweet out saying, I can't wait for people to come after to say this isn't a legit blah, blah, blah. And then I'd quote tweeted it. And I guess he vanity searched the article when it was posted, like he did here as well, because Meltzer said what quote tweeted this and pointed out it's a column why Dynamite and Tony Khan cannot win on Tuesday night. Just built-in excuses ready to go. And Meltzer said what posted this shit. And then this guy who's an Observer writer, he got hired by Dave or Brian. He told me, he said, he's like, Dave didn't even hire me. It's it doesn't matter, man. They know what his ideals are. And so they fucking hire people. It's oh man, yeah, I think Batman blows. We were talking about DC earlier. I don't know. I think Batman blows chunks and I love Spider-Man. DC's gonna hire me to fucking write columns on their website about Batman. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't work that way, asshole. I forget this guy's name too. But he's just waiting to pick fights with people who go at his articles and shit. He can't wait for it, but he just gets owned. And he also doesn't edit and use spell check. So on the column, he uses the word daily instead of day. And he uses, so one thing he does is while he's writing, sometimes he'll say, they do not. And then in the very next sentence, he'll use a word like aren't, AREN''T. And it's I'm not one of these hoity-toities where you can't use words like can't, don't, and aren't instead of are not, do not. But if I was editing that, I'd be hey, pick one or the other. Unless you're putting emphasis on something here that you really want to, unless you're putting emphasis on something you're really trying to get over with the cannot, I would fucking punch that up a little bit, dog. Who's editing this? Clearly not Dave, because we know he just does run-on sentences and I don't know. So the spell check's the thing, just saying. You don't even need spell check. You just slap it into Google. It'll tell you. I digress. He writes this article, though, making excuses. And then Meltzer said what? Was dude, what are you going to fucking come after me? I've pulled Dave's card on this already. And then he dropped a clip of Dave being making these same fucking excuses. But then the guy was Dave didn't write this article, blah, blah, blah. And that is true. But you got hired there for a reason to write articles like this and defend Tony Khan. That's obviously why they hired you to do that. We'll break that down more on Thursday, but it was quite cute. And again, there's just built-in excuses already. When you go on F4W online, I have pop-up and ad blockers on and shit, and these motherfuckers site just glitches out. So I'm not even going to attempt to click on there and read through point by point. I implore you all to do it and come up with your own assessment. We'll talk more about it, and we will dive deeper on Thursday's Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week show, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. But to top things off here, we have a AEW After Dynamite, Tony Montana. So on last Wednesday's live show, we reacted to the 2-minute video, of Wilson Fisk over here. And, Tony Montana was in his, white suit, and he's okay, so. And, he gives this spiel about, and there was air conditioning in the background and whatever intern or whoever they had using the fucking camera, just really, they don't know shit about production whatsoever in AEW. Even in their little social media posts, notice how even WWE's social media Instagram videos and shit are on point, But after That Dynamite, Tony Montana comes out and thanks the crowd for being hot all night and says AEW will return to the Seminole Hard Rock in Hollywood, California. The Seminole Hard Rock. How many seats in the Seminole Hard Rock in Hollywood, Florida? 7,000 person capacity. And they had how many in there? 2,000 if they're lucky. Let's take a look at Tony Montana here.
You all lived up to your end. I came out here earlier and I said that based on what a strong crowd you were at the beginning of the show, if you kept up that energy for the whole 6th anniversary show.
I'm keeping up my end of the bargain. If you reach under your seat, everybody, I put an Uzi under every sheet. Every seat. We're going to have a shootout. But first, let me get to my office. There's something I gotta do first.
I promised that we would be coming back here to the Hollywood Hard Rock.
Hollywood, known for Colombians. Me and Andrade had a great time this evening.
I wanted to come out here and thank all of you because I know this is a great sports town. I know there's a lot of great sports in the state of Florida.
I always tell the truth, even when I lie.
I know that this is a great football state.
It's a better hockey state.
I know that there's a lot of great sports, but there's only one sport that goes 52 weeks a year with no off season, with no breaks, year round, and it's pro wrestling. It's only possible to do this 52 weeks a year because of all of you supporting us year round. Thank you very much.
I'm Tony Montana. You're fucking with me. You're fucking with the best. We're the best. Wrestle Dream forever. His dad comes out. Oh, Wrestle Dream forever. Jesus.
It's not only possible to keep this thing going 52 weeks a year. Because
you already said that part.
Great professional wrestlers in the back.
Is there the best? And you're fucking with me. You're fucking with the best.
And the women and men in the truck, in the back, around the ring here now. Please, Hollywood, Florida, let's bring it up to the crew.
And never get high on your own supply. I'm Tony Montana. You've been great. Say hello to my little friend. Marco Stunt is here, ladies and gentlemen, making his return. Oh my God.
That is absolutely first class. I could not have picked a better place and a better group of people to spend the AEW Dynamite 6-year anniversary show with. Thank you very much. We have 3 more shows in the next week in the great state of Florida. You're welcome to join us tomorrow in Lakeland, Tuesday and Wednesday in Jacksonville, or we'll see you the next time we're back here at the Hollywood Hard Rock. Happy anniversary. Thank you for spending it with us tonight. Get home safe. Thank you.
Don't forget. I'm going to butcher it. Oh, my God. In this country, you got to make the money first. Then when you get the money, you got to get the power. Then when you get the power, then you get the women's division tag team titles. Then you get the Joshis from Stardom. And then you put them in Ring of Honor. It's great. Look at his runoff.
Thank you for spending it with us tonight. Get home safe. Thank you.
His little runoff. Look at his runoff, dude.
Thank you.
What's this? One more time. The runoff is the best part. The runoff is the best part.
Oh.
Oh my God, dude. That segment within a segment is called The Best Guys, Tony Khan. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was AEW news. That was funny. I may have botched earlier and played that for WWE news as well, but who gives a shit? Here we go. Let's check in with chat here. What do we have left tonight? We got sickos. Everybody stay locked in here. We have some sickos to get to. This one is a two-parter, I suppose. This was posted. I just bookmarked it swiftly. I didn't really dive deep into it before the show, but I didn't aggregate the info, I suppose. Justin Booth for 5. Hello. Thank you, buddy.
Guys, Tony Khan.
Appreciate you, man. And a new member, if I'm not mistaken, right? So if Tony Khan finally wised up and hired an actual booker to book AEW, who should Tony choose as the booker? Here's the thing. I like this question because people go, well, what would you do? And it's like, man, over the years, people have offered so many fucking solutions. Even when the company started, man, it's not like get Hulk Hogan and Bischoff back in there to run amok. Thank you for your super chat, by the way. Let me fucking acknowledge you for that one.
Acknowledge me.
Justin Booth. But it's like, who do you fucking put in there now is the question. Like, after all this time, like, okay, you stick anyone in there. It's fucking TNA. It's lower than TNA. Like, what can you do? It's got to, like, go through, I think, multiple stages of, like, change and then rise from the ashes like a phoenix, to steal a quote from Evil Dose, who I'm sure heard that somewhere else. We all have, right? I think that was Stan Lee in the Dark Phoenix saga. No. Who would you put in there now? I don't even fucking know. Like, who would change? I mean, okay, they changed the booking. I think the key thing is, like, you have to do certain things, like disappear for 6 months to a year. Maybe change the name. Maybe not, because you have some history there, 6 years of history. Completely reinvent the way you're perceived and shit. That's just going to take time. It's just the time. But at the beginning, nobody knew Tony Khan was going to be the shits like this. And at the beginning, I think when you had Rhodes and some of these minds in there, it's just obvious that Tony started listening to certain ones over other ones, when the ones that he listened to less were the fucking ones he should have been listening to more. And the ones he listened to more, he should have been listening to way fucking less. I think that's what happened. And it's not even a matter of, like, here's the thing. Look, if I had Tony's money and I wanted to get, and this would just be me before looking at AEW in hindsight, this is what I thought was going to happen when AEW became a company. I thought this is what was going to happen. I thought Tony Khan was going to just lay in the cut and maybe pitch his ideas, or like, hey, I really want this guy world champion. I see something in him. I'm a billionaire. Trust me, pal. But then he'd lay in the cut and let people, like, get him there. That's what I would do, man. I don't know whether it's like, I'm just like throwing random, like, you know, you assemble a team like Kevin Nash. I won't even go with like Cornette and shit, you know, whether, let's say it's like Kevin Nash. Let's say you poach Paul Heyman or something and like someone else. Maybe it's got to be, and there's not one guy. There's always got to be one guy that everybody definitively listens to, though. Like, the buck stops with this one person. And like, if I could, like, if I had that much money, I'd make a play at Paul Heyman, and that would be my guy where the buck stops with him. But I would have other people, maybe not too many cooks in the kitchen, but, and if you're a Tony Khan, let's say you're like, oh, I really want to get this Orange Cassidy guy over. Okay, let someone else who knows how to get some childish gimmick shit over with the kids figure it out for you and book it out for you, or just lay it out. Because this is the thing too with Tony Khan. He lays shit out. Like, we know he has that fucking, one of the clips that gets sniped out of 10 minutes of Tony Khan is when he pulls out his spreadsheet He doesn't like that people make fun of that because it's so ridiculous. And on that NFL Films thing, you see that fucking big NFL board he has, and he's wearing a neck brace, and everyone's sitting there like, dude, this kid is picking like an undrafted 7th rounder for his fucking team to appease himself, or for his dad to appease him, you know? It's not serious. And with the wrestling thing, when he's on Mark Maron's podcast and he's like, oh, I fucking the charts this way, then I flipped it upside down. And then the clip with him and Sammy Guevara in that room with like 700 empty soda water bottles. And Tony's like, well, you see, I got you here at Full Gear and I got you over here in a triple threat. And even if he's like, dude, I want to see Guevara and Jericho team up in a faction. And then after a long time, I want to see Guevara get out on top and like come out as like a main event guy or like a mid to top guy. Okay, Tony, that's your idea. That's great. Tell that to people who know how to do it and then give them the money to fucking get you there and just get out of the way. That's what he should do starting now. And things could turn around. He should have did that at the start and things could turn around. But he wants to have his fingerprints on. He's spread thin like Vince. He wants to, no, I'm a part of the NFL. I'm a part of fucking booking each and every show, and I'm there at each and every show. It's not good. Great question. I love that because it's a question that's like needs to be asked every like few years because it's not like it's not the same as when AEW started. The answer's different then. Fucking put Jim Cornette in there or whatever, right? Like it would be easy to say some shit like that. But now it's like, how do you bring them back? I don't know, man. Paul Heyman knows how to fucking get people behind him, but I don't think he would ever leave the Fed. I just don't think that would ever happen. Paul Carpenter has been a member for 5 months. Paul Carpenter, thank you for your membership. Round of applause. Tony Khan is not the one doing the data analysis on the 7th round pick. Yes, people in his company give him that info. Exactly. Anthony J says, my advice, you go off TV, take a lot of time off. I'm right there with you, buddy. That's the move, dude. You get people to be your talking figures. You get an authority figure. Yeah, exactly. That's the other problem. There's nobody. All you ever see is like Tony Khan's in an office arguing with MJF. You don't actually see him like fucking, you don't see anyone in charge. Like the Buck, even in kayfabe, the Buck stops with who? Tony? The guy who came on camera and was like, I feared for my life. That fucking guy. What are you talking about? You need like at least a Nick Aldis. They had Regal. They could have did it there. They got Jerry Lynn like having matches again and shit. Jeff Jarrett's right there. He could be your guy right there. They just don't do it. They just choose not to do it. So yeah. Okay. We have more. We have a sicko segment to get into. So let's hydrate for this. There's going to be some reading involved. It's a Saturday night. Hopefully everybody's having some good libations or just chilling, whatever you're doing. I appreciate you all, 300 of you across X and YouTube, roughly, give or take right now. It fluctuates, but we're tickling 300 tonight, which is a great, great, great turnout. I appreciate you all. And the replay will be at youtube.com/@prowrestletimes. We're almost at, I think, 2,200 subs over there, or 2,100, one of those. And then on the main channel, Pro Wrestle Clips on YouTube, we are almost at 7,200 subs. You guys fucking rule. So thank you for that. Yes. So we have, well, we'll get into it. I'll do the whole intro in one sec. Okay. A couple brewskis tonight. Got an empty house, so at this junction. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we will head over here to Phil Marks' book, My Yarks. And it is time for, and smash the thumbs up. Yes, I love that. Encourage everybody, smash the thumbs up. Because it is time for nobody's favorite segment. And it is called the So this guy, Lob City Leo, posted, love how ratings only matter when it's convenient. So again, we cleaned up the sicko segment. We're not about to bookmark every fucking sicko who goes, Andrade sucks, and then Andrade rules, and then Andrade sucks, and then he rules. And then ratings don't matter. Ratings matter. We can't play this game. We got to stop doing that. This just wastes everybody's time. going over each and every one of these sickos. But here's just one example. Here's some photographic evidence. It's happening. This gentleman here says, who ultimately cares about Dynamite ratings? It was a great show. That's all that matters. All this fan discourse is not to be taken seriously. They're not TV execs. Dynamite still ranks 6 for the night. Cable is dying, and how they measure ratings has changed. Relax, people. Hey, relax, guy. And then this guy says, ratings are way down. The champion is calling for fans to complain to the network. So true. That's in relation to the Hangman Adam Page story, which we covered earlier in AEW news. So this gentleman here, Slick, I guess he gets a plug here, says, love how you ignored WWE's plunging ratings on Netflix and USA Network. AEW has maintained being in the top 10 with its 2 shows all year, while also being simultaneously on Max. You haters need to learn how ratings work, or you sound like dumbasses. It's super funny, people who don't know how ratings work talking about how ratings work. And I'm the first to go, here's some other people, what they're saying about, who are smarter than I in this regard, talking about how this works. It's pretty easy to do. But it's just like people, it's really weird, man. It's just people who are so diehard for AEW. It's fine. I mean, they must feel backed into a corner, right? I'm trying to feel for these guys. You know what I mean? They just must feel backed into a corner. I know Dave does. But Niccolo Piccolo, speaking of TV execs and agents and all of these sorts of things, right? He wrote part 1, The Sickos, and this is a thread. There was a part 2 as well. It was in the fucking timeline, so I bookmarked these, okay? For the show. We're going to take a gander. The Sickos, the Prophet, and the Scoreboard. And then he plays some fucking... Is this just fantasy? So playing some Bohemian Rhapsody for us. And part 1, The Sickos. So Niccolo Piccolo had this to say. They call themselves fans, but what they really are is a reflection of the modern attention economy. They don't follow the product, they follow the feeling. They don't debate to learn, they debate to belong. They call themselves the Sickos. I'll give them a fucking drop. We'll give them a drop. What's fascinating about this group isn't what they watch, it's how they attach themselves to it, right? This applies to a lot of other sections of society and shit. It's not just pro wrestling, but they built an identity around a brand that treats their loyalty like fuel. Every win or loss in that world is a personal one. Every critique feels like an insult. They don't see it as business. This is what I mean. I get all these fucking sickos like AEW Shield. He'll respond to some of my posts about AEW and he'll be like, oh, but WWE Speed got kicked off X. It's like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. Like I shitted on Speed before this last PLE where they changed the lights during that match. And I was like, that's different. I like different, you know? Before then I watched the first Speed tournament and I was like, not for me. It's for like short attention span. Fucking, I get it. Right. In the age of reels and all that. Oh, you know, they kicked fucking Speed off. Who gives a shit? I don't give a fuck. Like, that's not what we're talking about. Like, I don't care. Right. I'm not a fucking e-drone the way you honestly think. My name isn't WWE Phil. My name isn't WWE Wrestle Times, right? Like, unlike you fucking AEW, whatever the fuck. Just shut up, you know? We're just not on the same level. So Nick says, in their mind, they're underdogs fighting the machine. Man, the rebels stand against corporate polished data and power, man. They imagine themselves as David, forever slinging stones at Goliath, but the fantasy has a cost, because the more they define themselves as the little guy, the more powerless they become. They talk about authenticity like it's oxygen. The word comes up again. I'm just looking at fucking this South Park meme. Real wrestling. What a great episode, dude. That's the thing, man. Like, I'm a huge wrestling fan. I laugh my ass off at the WWE South Park episode. I laugh my ass off when I love Ben Affleck. I laugh when they make fun of him and J-Lo and shit. There's some people who are so triggered that they're making fun of Trump and shit in the new season. And it's like, I get it, guys, but like, come on, man. You gotta laugh at shit, even if it's ridiculous. That's what South Park is. Like, it's just a ridiculous, outlandish fucking show. But either way, that was just popping me. The word comes up again and again. Real wrestling, real storytelling, real passion. But authenticity isn't a business model. It's a mood, and it's a convenient shield for failure. Right. And it's a boost, I would say, for success as well. Like people who are just trying to authentically be themselves, you know? But it can be a shield, and it isn't a business model. You know, it can like reinforce a business. It can even lead to a business's demise sometimes. However, it isn't the model itself. I like that Nick points that out, you know? If something doesn't work, they tell themselves it was too real for the masses, man. Exactly. Every movement needs a prophet. There's found one in Dave Meltzer. For decades, he's been treated like a scholar for the squared circle, the voice that gives legitimacy to what they already believe. His ratings and newsletters become sacred text. Sacred text. They don't want to verify his information. They want to be validated by it. Dave Meltzer's authority gives them permission to feel smarter than the people actually making the decisions. Boo-boo, smarter than the average abaya. They crave access, even if it's imaginary, a rumor in a Discord, a friend who knows someone who once worked production. Nick, it's less than that. It's Dave saying, who's at Raw tonight? And then fucking whoever DMs them first. It is that bad, bro, but you're spitting, okay? These are bars. You're being poetic here. A half screenshot of a contract. They collect fragments and build castles out of speculation. The illusion of proximity feels like power, even though it's not. Yeah, that's why I say don't tell me shit. I'll just say it. Like, I don't want to be a dirt sheet. That's like being a journalist. That's like there's responsibility in that. You don't want that, you know? If you don't want that, rather, don't go down that road. Don't go down that road. So Nick says the real irony is that the competition itself has become their religion. They don't watch for stories or athleticism anymore. I'm just being honest, folks. They watch to win arguments. Rivalries aren't creative. They're tribal. And hey, me and Alfred talk about this. I'm all for the tribalism. I'm all for AEW versus TNA. That's a war I can get behind. And the sickos have an argument when they go, nah. Like, I'm not just only gonna, like, if we're looking at numbers, if we're looking at CW and TBN and shit, I'm going to keep the same energy for TNA when they announce their TV deal. But we're going to stack AEW versus TNA. We're not going to do this fucking WWE. WWE is just its own thing. And I know I've said that in the past, but it's because I'm jumping the gun because, again, Phil don't miss. I've been fucking anticipating. No, I'm just putting myself over. But, like, I've been anticipating this like many have. Not the only one, guys. You're not the one, but you're the only one. So Nicolo Piccolo says when someone steps outside that binary, when someone says maybe this isn't about sides at all, they short circuit. Without an enemy, they lose identity, and nothing exposes that insecurity faster than business reality. I love that, dude. Without an enemy, they lose identity. It's so true. You're a poet and didn't know it. Eminem's writing that down right now. Jack Harlow's writing that down right now. No, but it's true, dude. It's true. Nothing exposes that insecurity faster than business reality. Bring up rights fees, international licensing, ad inventory, or streaming economics. The energy shifts instantly. Numbers ruin the myth. They don't want to talk valuation or leverage because the conversation reminds them they're fans of a product, not founders of a revolution. Inside their online culture, humor is the password that keeps the club exclusive. The slang, the memes, the irony, it all works like a handshake. Inside their online culture. I think that's most online culture, though. I'll say that to Nick. I think most online culture is like humor just to like elevate your side, you know? Words like shoot, work, or copium aren't just jokes. They're markers of belonging. Outsiders who use those terms accurately trigger panic because precision feels like intrusion. The humor is a mask protecting fragility with irony. Yeah, dude, look at my YouTube comments. There's also a deep paranoia baked into the subculture. They accuse others of being bots or corporate plants, all while acting as unpaid PR for the very machine they claim to rebel against. Yeah, it's because they're fucking bots, dude. Like, they're NPCs, so to them it's just projecting. And I don't like to throw it around too much, like these fucking bots and NPCs, because it's like the dead internet theory. I'm not like this big conspiracy theorist over here, but like dead internet theory is interesting, and I just believe it's more true than it isn't. You know what I mean? As far as like all these I already know too that all these companies, like when I've used this example a billion times. The show She-Hulk comes out. We all agree it's shitty. But then there's like 80 million Stan accounts with fucking 30,000 followers or 3,000 or 10,000 followers that all fucking are standing She-Hulk, the worst show ever made. Like, yeah, I get it, man. I like to defend comic book shit too. I'm a big, I defend that shit. We had to fight hard to get that shit taken seriously. Now fucking people love shitting on it. I defend it, but it's like She-Hulk, you can't defend that in a lot of aspects, maybe there's a couple episodes in there, but it's like, where did these accounts come from? So these big companies do that. Every big company, from McDonald's, I'm sure, to NFL, to fucking Sony, to fucking name a company, I'm sure they have these paid Stanek. In fact, like, I mean, there's research that's been done that these people, what they'll do is they'll pay people to create accounts so that they don't get flagged. Like, it's a real person who will verify themselves, but they were paid to do so that it can't get flagged as a bot account and shit. Maybe I go too deep on the YouTubes on that in the dead internet theory and all that stuff, but hey, it's worth looking into. And so it's just projection largely, because it's bots calling other people bots is the greater point here. So Nick says they can't accept that they're outraged. And again, this applies to fucking, there's sickos in every aspect of like the internet and shit. It's just in the IWC, it's defined like there's sicko NBA fans and there's people who hate on like the Mavericks or something, let's say. But there's 32 teams. In WWE and pro wrestling, AEW terms, there's really like the two teams right now. That's why it feels as though, I think that's why some of this shit feels as though it's unique to pro wrestling, but it's really not. It's just that like when the MMA bros are debating, they have like 600 people on the UFC roster to debate about and shit. In pro wrestling, it's really just like, okay, we got WWE and AEW. Everything's clearly below that. And then there's like TNA that could creep in. So that's why it seems like them and us. And that's why a lot of people use that vernacular. When you go into other areas of like the internet and Twitter, YouTube, whatever, this is happening everywhere, but it's not so like there's not just two parties, right? It's like you might have 10 fucking, I use the example of NBA, for instance. You have 32 teams you can argue about. You got 82 games a season you can argue about. With pro wrestling, it's just like, okay, you have Dynamite, you got Raw, you got SmackDown, you got Collision, you got AEW, and WWE are paying the most. There's two clubs to really argue about here. Hopefully that makes sense. Anyways, Nick says, and what truly sends me over the edge isn't mockery, it's professionalism. A calm, matter-of-fact tone hits them like a weapon. They're wired for chaos. They need yelling, all caps, emotional escalation. A calm, matter-of-fact tone hits them like a okay, did you double post? Oh, he's dropping poetry, dude. I'm a poet. A calm, matter-of-fact tone hits them like a weapon. They're wired for chaos. I'm Niccolo Dice Clay. They need yelling, all caps, emotional escalation. So when someone speaks in measured sentences with industry fluency and detachment, they hear it as arrogance. What they're really hearing is competence. Fucking right on the head. When I started my Twitter, I tried to do like the intellectual debate shit with people. It's like, no, you got to just, he's so spot on. You got to just be funny and troll and shit. This is all. It's how you really fucking hit them back. The heartbreak of it all is that every time one of their heroes leaves or disappoints them, they experience it as betrayal. Their parasocial bonds are so deep that when a favorite performer contradicts the mythology, the grief turns into fury. They can't mourn quietly. They have to punish someone. The louder the meltdown, the safer they feel. What we're watching isn't just fandom. It's the emotional infrastructure of the internet. Rumors become truth. The truth becomes gospel. Outrage becomes currency. They aren't reading news. They're performing it. They need the noise because silence would mean reflection. And that's the irony. To be continued in part 2. So we have a part 2 here. I'm going to rip through it because fuck it. I'm compelled. I'm interested. Right? Let's get into it right here. So what the prophet and the scoreboard, part 2. So let's see what it is. Oh, yeah. Ooh. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. I'm just a poor boy. Nobody loves me. He's just a poor boy from a family. Oh, shit. Okay, so everybody hydrate. This is a hydrate break. Drum roll, please. So the sickos, the prophecy, and the scoreboard. The prophet and the scoreboard. The sickos were never the revolution. They were the reverb noise pretending to be a movement, noise pretending to be a movement, passion without understanding. They mistake proximity for power and hashtags for history. Evolution is a mystery, but the business doesn't move at the speed of hashtags. It moves at the speed of contract, strategy, and capital. If the feed ever quiets when the numbers come in, one side still has a business to run. The rest go back to posting about the empire they swore they'd overthrow, and the machine keeps printing money. Big wheels keep on turning. I have a song for every tweet he put out. He has a fucking GIF. I got a song for every. No, they built their movement around profit, and his name was Dave Meltzer. Around a profit, and his name was Dave Meltzer. Nick, I think it's more than just Dave. I think it's fashionable to hate on Dave. That's why everyone's fucking doing it now. I think that it's more than just Dave, though. It's a lot of the fucking media. Like, there's people who work in AEW now who had, like, voices on podcasts people were listening to that they trusted and shit that, you know. Nick says they built their movement around a prophet. Okay, for decades he's been treated like a scholar to this. Is he repeating? Is this a rewind? It's poetry, though, folks. Okay, treated like a scholar of the squared circle, the voice that gives legitimacy to what his audience already believes. His star ratings and newsletters became sacred text. Okay, we read that. His word became the operating system for an entire generation of online fans who confuse commentary with comprehension. I was conscripted into this debate because the bleed from myth to marketplace now crosses my lane. While Meltzer and his imitators kept scorecards of work rate, real capital was being deployed, bundled media rights, global touring, live integration, and international streaming. And here's the thing. Can I just say this? And not to like defend Vince McMahon, but even Niccolo Piccolo would tell you, if you ask him, he'll tell you, like, Vince was in the fucking way of a lot of shit for a lot of people during his time. And now that he's out of the way, you're seeing it. How many guys are in Street Fighter? Everybody's taking off doing movies and shows and shit. And Hollywood's working around that, right? They may have done that sooner if it was, you know, if Vince wasn't like protective and doing shit the way he ran his business. However, if it wasn't for the way Vince ran his fucking business, we wouldn't be where we at now, right? And Niccolo Piccolo wouldn't be writing shit about WWE. So again, Vince, the controversial shit aside, I mean, just that alone. I mean, you have to give that to Vince too. It's not like because Triple H is the booker now. Fucking Roman's a huge star or whatever, you know, Roman's doing movies because what, Triple H is booking Raw now? It's not like that. It's because of the way Vince did shit. And so it's an interesting time. I don't know. Interesting perspective from his part, right? But he says an international streaming partnerships that turned a once niche product into a multinational growth engine. When Fanatics assume global event merch operations, and when Netflix delivered 4.9 million global views on Raw's streaming debut, those weren't symbolic milestones. They were structural victories that rewrote leverage. What finally gives me confidence in this analysis is the real scoreboard. Since WrestleMania 39 distribution has expanded across every major platform, USA, CW, Netflix, and ESPN PLEs, live events have become global commerce engines, record gates in London, Berlin, Perth, and Lyon, proving the model. And also, I mean, some of that has to be like nod of the cap to UFC as well and Endeavor and shit. And I'm not saying they should, like, I've put it over innumerable times. UFC copied WWE in that, right? However, we're at a time where you're starting to see like WWE copy some of the fucking footsteps of UFC in some ways, and that's just because what TKO has been able to do with sports and entertainment. So I digress, though. I'm just trying to add some commentary to this. Nick is spitting. He's just dropping bombs, okay? The Fanatics partnership transformed. To me, the Fanatics thing is like one of the biggest fucking things to ever happen to WWE. I think that's one of the, just sports in general, I think it's one of the coolest fucking things. Whoever came up with that, hats off to you, sir. Transform, like whoever's behind Fanatics, fucking hats off. Transform merchandise into a vertically integrated retail operation. This isn't speculative storytelling, it's corporate Dave, here's the problem too with Nick saying all this. Dave would just go, yeah, but of course. But I mean, AEW, I mean, Tony Khan has so much money.
The best guy is Tony Khan.
He would just be like, yeah, but I mean, this all goes without saying. That's what he would say, dude. He would just be like, well, I already know all this. No one studied the business more than me. If I was Dave, though, I'd be reading this on his show because he needs to learn this. Like, it's not that I'm sitting here going, I already knew all this shit, but it's like, yeah, Nick is like, if he's going to say all this, listen to what the fuck he's saying as far as like this is concerned with when it comes to like the rights deals and all this stuff. Again, I've said it a billion times. If I'm Tony Khan, who was it again? What's his name? Werner von Braun. He was a Yahtzee, right? Like a big Yahtzee in the WW2 days. And he had there's fucking crazy stories about him. And NASA scooped him up, man. The US government was like, look, dude, we got to fucking, this guy's got, he's Lex Luthor. We need to like get him on our side. Right? Speaking of comic books and shit, it's like a supervillain story in and of itself. I'm not saying Niccolo Piccolo is a Yahtzee or anything. Maybe that was a bad fucking, but the way they view this guy, he's like a supervillain. He's like fucking Brainiac plotting against them. No, I would swoop in and scoop this guy. Nick's probably like, shut the fuck up. I don't want that, but it's like, I would swoop in. I'd offer this guy so much money and be like, bro, you clearly got your finger, like what's going on, consult with us. Let's figure this out. Instead, Dave's just like ignoring him and then respond. Dave's been responding to Nick through tweets where he's responding to other people, but it seems like it's to Nick. At least that's my opinion just from reading it all online. I feel like he's done that to PWT as well, but who knows? We know he's responded to people with flutes in the chat and with the Blue Sky account that was like, I love PWT and play flutes or whatever, right? And he responded to it. He's like, that's not me. So who knows? But he's aware of Nick for sure, 100%. So the financials confirm what the noise obscures. The synthesis of scripted spectacle and sports infrastructure is compounding. EBITDA up. Cash flow strengthening, rights multiples expanding. The narrative that this is hobby theatrics collapses under its own irrelevance. Meltzer's mythology trained people to look for truth in rumor. The market now finds truth in scale. Yeah, I mean, it's just being able to look at data, and we all have instant access to information. So it's just harder for Dave too. He used to just work internet marks and shit. But now there's sources that go above his head, and he can't deal with that. And this is precisely why Meltzer needs to be called out. We should have did this on Dave Meltzer's dumb moment of the fucking week. This should have been part of it. I guess we'll fucking run a flute right here, even though this is this isn't the official show, guys. Okay, the show's still Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific. Dave Meltzer's influence no longer stops at commentary. It distorts perception, valuation, and leverage for the very performers and executives who live inside the actual business. I've been thanked personally by people saying, no, you're doing the right thing calling Dave out. He fucks with people's jobs and shit, man. Like, he can influence people getting paid more than they should and shit. Like, it's not right what he does. By people who fucking, who've put their bodies on the line in that fucking squared circle. So Nick's spot on about that as well. The problem isn't that he's wrong. It's that too many still mistake him for being right. When misinformation crosses into marketplace consequence, silence becomes complicity. Here's the thing. I think less and less people view him as right. And that's all right with me because he's my fucking stuttering John. So Nick says, I don't work for the company. I represent top tier talent who understand that relevance isn't an argument. It's data. It's contract sale, licensing breadth, the sustained global demand. RIP Nipsey Hussle. The machine doesn't need validation from newsletters or algorithms. It prints its own. If the feed ever quiets. It's not because the story stopped. It's because the scoreboard spoke. Let's play this. He's got the fucking song going. He's scoring his fucking Twitter rant, dude. Nothing really matters. Nothing really matters to me. So hustle, dumb it down might confuse them. This ain't that weirdo rap you motherfuckers used to. See, bro, if you ain't live and die by the street code, been through all these motions up and down like a seesaw, I can never view you as my equal. Fuck, I want to hear you see defo. Philly, class is in session, so you can stop guessing. Oh shit. Even though Nipsey was West Coast, man, but fucking Nick, I think, is from Philly, right?
100 pro flow, run and shoot pro, 450.
Let's fucking go, man. So Nick just dropping bars. I mean, I guess that was a mixture, a little daddy magic taste of Dave Meltzer's dumb moment of the week, but most importantly, what it was a oh my goodness, amazing stuff. Round of applause to the PWT universe. An amazing show. 3.5 hours. Ladies and gentlemen, Monday is Member Monday, so make sure you become a member. It's only 99 cents. If you join Patreon, I'm watching Tough Enough, and I'm doing all these other fucking dope videos. Make sure you're on there. I have another Tough Enough episode. I dropped 2 the other day. I'm dropping another one tonight or in the morning. It will be up, I assure you. But yeah, I've been uploading more videos. And if you're a member of this channel or a patron, you get access to Member Monday shows. Those are fun as fuck. Okay, membership's only 99 cents Canadian, okay? And then Wednesday, we're going live at the same time. I think we're going to do a run-in Tuesday for Title Tuesday. Title Tuesday versus Showdown. We got to do it, even though it's not called Invasion. I think we've been hyping it up enough, so we'll likely do that unless something comes up, okay? I do get pretty fucking busy those days. I also have a really cool... I have a really fucking awesome pod coming up with... I don't want to say it and jinx it, but I think we got it locked in for Wednesday before I go live. Someone who streams with Vince Russo a lot. There's a teaser, okay? It's coming on PWT Pod. It'll be a fun time. I'm linking up with Husey this week as well, guys. That will be maybe on the Phil Marks Out channel, maybe on some wrestling shit. So make sure you're just checking out. Click a link down there. Just go look in the description. You find all my shit. I appreciate you all so much. Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern. 5 Pacific. I believe that's the right time. It is. Dave Meltzer, Dumb Moment of the Week, every Thursday. It's my new show, new podcast. You can listen to it on streaming, wherever. And it might not be up on like Apple and all that yet, but it will be. And then, yeah, of course, you guys already know the live show Wednesday and Saturdays. It's been an amazing time. Round of applause for everybody in the PWT universe. And until next time, I'll see you in the Upside Down. I've been your host, Phil Marks, by the way. Love you guys. I'll see you in the Upside Down. Down. Peace.
It is a fast-acting viral strain that infects the host immediately, and upon getting sick, the infected will become racked with coughs, sweat profusely, and start to get the shivers and chills.
There he is, the legend. The man, the myth, the legend. Yeah.
You can't literally run a promotion just for the AEW, what do they call them, sickos?
Thank you very much, TikTok and AEW. See you tonight.
Tony Khan started telling people there's no such thing as long-term booking anymore. It's week to week.
The best guys, Tony Khan.
We have just secured the bag.
It's not like I tried to be a character. It was just sort of happened naturally. But it was never something I intended. It was just something that happened because the wrestlers asked me to do things in matches, and I do them.
If you run a promotion just for the sickos, you're going to do 400,000 viewers eventually.
Effing melts.
You know that SmackDown actually went over and everything?
Yeah.
You know,
What's the point?
the point of SmackDown.
What are you getting at here?
That the DVRs didn't pick it up.
Did they not pick it up?
You know, mine didn't.
Let's get into everybody's favorite moment, and it is called Dave Meltzer's Dumb Moment of the Week.
What
What would you like to listen to in your ears?
I'd like to hear the flute.
Well, if you'd like to flaunt your flute, then we can find you a flautist.
We have just secured the bag.
It doesn't help me.
Okay, so complain, but
I will complain.
let me out my misery.
And when I heard that, I was like, what?
Thank you, fuck you, bye. Boom.
You got to run a promotion for everybody. The sickos can be the ones that buy tickets first and spend the most money on the merchandise.
Because we have just secured the bag.
But, like, you got to promote for everybody. Then you'll have a lot of viewers.
I think we proved a lot of so-called experts. We made them look like idiots. We're not going anywhere. Tony Khan's not going anywhere.
You'll also be there on TNT. You'll be in 2 places at once. You'll be like my favorite movie. Time. It's so great, Pittsburgh.
It's not like I tried to be a character. Sort of happened naturally.
The best guy is Tony Khan.
Keep themselves safe.